Warm-ups completed here from First Arena, and we're ready for another night of hockey. The Watertown Wolves in town for another matchup against the Elmira Enforcers after a 3-1 victory last night. Last night was also Valentine's Day, and I hope you enjoyed it I hope you enjoyed it yourself and with yours. It was a great night here at First Arena, especially for your Watertown Wolves. The Wolves catapulted to 2015 2-2 with the victory and now sit just a single point behind the Elmira Enforcers. The Enforcers coming into this one 2013 2-3. The point difference 67-66. And there's still a lot of hockey to be played in the weekend. Got a game here at First Arena tonight, and then both teams hop on a bus tomorrow morning, head up to Watertown Municipal Arena for a 4:05 face-off tomorrow afternoon. A 3-3 weekend, a big one, and you'll hear Coach Paul McLean's thoughts on Coach's Corners. We have all our technical difficulties worked out. Been here since before 2 o'clock this afternoon getting everything all fixed, and I'd like to give a huge thank you to Eric Thorstein, Jeff Barrett, John Clement, Rick, our IT guy here at First Arena, and everybody else that helped get everything all set up for tonight. And I'd like to give a huge thank you to all of you listening or watching as well. Showing up on the board right now, the Enforcers' upcoming home games. Obviously, Watertown heading home after today, and Watertown not returning on the road until they come back here to play the Enforcers yet again on Thursday, March 12th. So a long homestand on the brink for the Watertown Wolves. Just got to get through tonight. Got to get through tonight with 3 points. That's the big key in this one. And after tonight, it becomes, well, after last night, it becomes even more prevalent. Taking a look now at the standings here, taking us right into it. The Danbury Hat-Tricks on top of these. 25 wins, 9 losses, 2 overtime wins, and 2 overtime losses. Good for 81 points. They've taken 6 in a row and have gone 8-2 in their last 10. And as for the Enforcers, 8-2 in their last 10 as well. They dropped the game last night, leaving them at 2013 2-3 with 67 points. The Watertown Wolves, 20 wins, 15 losses, 2 overtime wins, and 2 overtime losses. Good for a total of 66 points. The Wolves 7-3 over their last 10. The Mentor Icebreakers 14-22 0-3. Good for 4th in the division, 45 points, and they've been tanking as of late. They've dropped 5 straight, 1-9 through their last 10, and the Delaware Thunder have dropped their last 10 straight. 8-27 stands their record, 24 points, the bottom dwellers of the East. And now taking a look at the Western Division, the Carolina Thunderbirds, 28 wins, 6 losses, 2 overtime wins, and 2 overtime losses. Good for 90 points. 6-4 through their last 10, and the Port Huron Prowlers coming in next at 2012 4-0, 68 points. The Danville Dashers staying right there. 20 wins, 14 losses, 1 overtime win, and 3 overtime losses. The Columbus River Dragons, 15 wins, 17 losses, 4 OT wins, and 1 extra time loss. 54 points, and then the Battle Creek Rumblebees dead last out in the West at 1-36 with 1 OT loss to their names. Good for a total of 4 points. The Battle Creek Rumblebees have dropped 3 in a row, and now that we've gone through the standards, we're going to pull up our Coach's Corner here and get you set for the game with a special interview with Wolves head coach Paul McLean.
Another edition of Coach's Corner here. Colby Smith here with Wolves head coach Paul McLean. Coach, you guys are coming off a big 3-1 win over Elmira last night. What did you see from your team that you liked last night?
Just a simple road game. I thought we were patient. One over 8. Looked after the defensive zone. Pretty good. Just things to my side. Trying to keep pucks deep. And, just basically, I thought the shifts and line changes were pretty good. Overall, it was a pretty good hockey game.
And Tyler Jurich and Ahmed Mahfouz, both launch streaks ended last night. Jurich entered last night on an 8-game point streak. Now that's over. Mahfouz was on a 26-game point streak entering tonight. So how does that make you feel as a coach that you just ended streaks like that?
You know what? You're gonna go through those stints through the year.
obviously now Pominville, a huge night last night. Should we expect to see him out there again tonight?
He's going to start.
Okay, and well, thinking about it now, last night Pominville turned away that penalty shot opportunity on Ahmed Mahfouz. Do you feel that was the key moment of the game last night?
It was pretty early still, so I mean, I don't know if there was definitely a real momentum swing for us, and got the guys fired up, but they still had some good opportunities.
And Ahmed Mahfouz and Tyler Jarrett, huge pieces to the puzzle for the Elmira Enforcers. How are you guys looking to generate more defense tonight to shut down their offense?
Basically, it's going to stick to the same game plan, just play tight defense, and just try to stick to what we're working on.
In talking to Ryan Marker, he thought the rushes were a big part of last night's game. Some of those 3-on-2, 2-on-3, odd-man rushes. Do you think that was kind of a big part of last night's game too?
Yes, I do. I think if we can get out of our zone quick, again, just make that first outlet pass. Sometimes a simple chip works well for you too.
And Coach, tonight's your 40th game of the season, so obviously not too many to go, but a fair number left. Have you guys kind of been looking at the standings and seeing what you have to do to get it done over these next few weeks?
I think the big thing is, and I say this every year, is we stay from injury. We want to take a look at stuff we want to talk about the schedule, or talk about, might be a little bit banged up, but, whether you rest guys or not, I think they're going to go pretty much, March is going to be a pretty busy month too. So.
And tonight's the second game of your 3-and-3 this weekend. How does having a 3-on-3 affect the team overall?
3 games in 3 nights is definitely definitely a grind for both teams. So you hate to see anybody. I think at the end of the day, we've got a full bench, so we should be okay.
And Coach, we were talking about lineups last night. Should we expect to see anything different than what we saw last night?
No, I don't think so. Basically, we're running with the same.
And now last question before I let you go. We talked about this last night. You head home tomorrow. That's the start of a 10-game road trip. So you got 3 points last night. Is tonight another set of big 3 points?
Yeah, I think it's the standings are pretty tight. I think every game is crucial here on in. And I think we got tomorrow, and then we got a doubleheader next weekend, and the weekend following Carolina. They come and play us twice, and go on the road again actually after that. So, but yeah, we're definitely it's a big game tonight. I mean, they're all big. So just taking one game at a time.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Well, I'm back here live now with you from the First Arena. That was Coach's Corner with head coach Paul McLean, and a big thank you as well to the Watertown coaches and players this weekend for being so functional and flexible with me. Got to have another experience hanging out down in the team locker room prior to the game today, and boy is that an experience. If you've never had the opportunity to hang around some of these guys, pre-game soccer is definitely a fun event down on the concourse. Got in there, kick a few balls around with Wolves forwards Derek Bedreau, Jamie Lucas, and also Ryan Marker. And Ryan Marker, one of my interviews for tonight, so you have to stick around for that. First intermission, we'll have Ryan Marker on here with us. Obviously, again, sorry about the quality of our interviews here tonight. We got things worked out, but that's the best we can have is our interview quality here tonight. So just got to take what we can get, I guess. But now let's get right into the starting goaltender matchup of the night. The Watertown Wolves sending Jeremy Pominville. Once again, Pominville came up with the clutch saves in an extreme time of need, powering the Wolves to a 3-1 victory over the Elmira Enforcers last night. Jeremy Pominville stopped 37 of 38 and 20 in the final 25 minutes to take home his 14th win of the season and the team's 20th of the year. Pominville used his blocker to deny the rushes. He used his glove to stomp down the high flippers. Jeremy looked like an elite goaltender last night. His numbers might not scream top of the line, but remember, he's a rookie and growing pains come with anything. It sure didn't look like he had much of any growing pains when he's throwing away a Mafu's penalty shot opportunity or kicking away a Yarwood slap shot. It'll be interesting to observe how Pominville handles the heavy workload he's faced this season heading into the final stretch before the playoffs. All that starts with, however, closing out the weekend with 2 more wins and getting pumped up for the long homestand starting tomorrow night on Healthcare Appreciation Night. And Wolves fans, that brings it up to you. Gotta come on out to Watertown Municipal Arena tomorrow, 4:05 puck drop in Healthcare Appreciation Night. At that $10 tickets for everybody with proof of healthcare employment. And didn't even run through it. Pominville's numbers: 14 wins, 13 losses, 2 overtime losses with a .353 goals against average, a .906 save percentage, and 1 shutout to his name on the season. The Elmira Enforcers sending who we like to call Mighty Joe Young to the crease here tonight. In 26 games played this season, 5 wins, 1 loss, no overtime decisions, a .311 goals against average, and a .913 save percentage. When Joe Young was signed and brought in as a member of this team, questions were asked whether he could shoulder the load behind usual dependable starter Troy Passingham. Young spent 4 seasons as the backup at Union College of the ECAC before turning pro with Elmira. Since putting on the neon green and white for the first time back in October, he's done all that's been asked of him and more. When Joe Young takes to the ice, expect a netminder ready to use his resources, ready for battle, and ready to put out a good performance. Young stopped 35 of 38 in an absolute dueler of a contest with the West Division's middle-of-the-pack squad in Port Huron. Joe had a tough time with redirections, which is something we've yet to see this season. He did, however, use his blocker quite well and turned in clutch saves in the time of desire. All you can ask for from your starter against Port Huron, but it's needed again tonight against Watertown. The Elmira Enforcers and Watertown Wolves squaring off for a second straight night here from Watertown Municipal Arena. After tonight, they'll only be 2/3 of the way through a 3-3 weekend, however, as both teams getting together again at Watertown Municipal Arena tomorrow. There's your starting goaltender matchup, but we do have our scratches update here for you tonight. Brandon Tucker out again for the Elmira Enforcers. Tucker dealing with a mysterious lower body injury. He's been seen around the rink, so you gotta hope, well, you don't really got to hope that Tucker stays out this weekend, and then he'll probably be back Wednesday night, or so we've been told, against the New York Police Department in the Enforcers exhibition game. That's it for the Elmira side, and as for Watertown, Scott Dorian, who did not make the trip, will not be out. Michael Desjardins, still dealing with his injury, will not be playing yet again tonight. And forward Marvin Powell, once again, takes the scratch. That's our scratches update for the night, and we've got 4:43 to go until we hit the pregame festivities here at First Arena. We're probably looking at a 7:10 puck drop yet again here tonight, and we're going to take another break here on the pregame show, and we'll be right back here on Mitchler and YouTube.com.
Power Play Sports and Watertown Wolves number 21, Derek Boudreau, are excited to offer private lessons and personalized workout programs that players of all ages and skill take their game to the next level. On and off-ice programs are available. On-ice programs are focused on improving skills such as shooting, skating, and stick handling, while off-ice programs are focused on improving athletic abilities such as balance, agility, and power. An initial one-on-one session will be had to assess players' abilities both on and off-ice, depending on desired area of improvement. Programs are tailored to the player's specific needs and will be modified accordingly. $45 for a 60-minute session or $200 a month is the cost. To book or more info, drop an email to derek.boudreau, DERIC.BOUDREAU or call 613-884-1237.
Back here live with you once again from the First Arena. Just about another minute ticking off on our big board here at First Arena. And now we're going to take a look before we get too far along on our score update from last night. The Danbury Hat-Tricks pulling it out over the Delaware Thunder. 2 goals in the third period to give themselves a 4-2 win. Obviously here in Elmira, 3-1 win for the Wolves. And out in Port Huron, Michigan, a 7-2 win for the Prowlers over the slumping Icebreakers. Down in Columbus, Georgia, the Battle Creek Rumblebees scored 3 goals in a short margin in period number 2, but it could not, however, be stopped as the Columbus River Dragons finagled a 6-3 win. Out in Danville, Illinois, Danville got shellacked yet again last night. Neither goaltender Harley White nor Jesse Gordachuk could stop the fast-paced Carolina Thunderbirds offense, and the Carolina Thunderbirds 5 goals from guys signed to PTOs earlier this week to pull out an 8-1 W. And we've already got some games underway tonight. Let's take a look and see what we got here. The Port Huron Prowlers with a 3-0 lead over the Mentor Icebreakers from Mid-Moraine Arena in the closing game of that series. Newly added to the roster, Port Huron Prowler Brandon Catrado adding a goal and an assist. Dalton Young having another goal, and Larry Vertanen getting his 3rd of the season for the Port Huron Prowlers. The Prowlers starting to play good hockey as of late, and they're a team to watch. The Enforcers done with them in the season series, but they come to Watertown in a few weeks. So Watertown Wolves fans, the opening weekend of March, you're not going to want to miss seeing the Port Huron Prowlers in action. Their high-paced tempo offense and the grittiness they possess in the corners, it's all going to be just a matter of the game, and you aren't going to want to miss when the Port Huron Prowlers face the Wolves at Watertown Municipal Arena. The Columbus River Dragons and Battle Creek Rumblebees through 2 periods. They started at 5 o'clock, it looks like. The Columbus River Dragons with a 1-0 lead. The Battle Creek Rumblebees hanging around with the Columbus River Dragons. Battle Creek with just 6 shots, however, through the opening 2 periods. Columbus getting their lone goal from Yanni Lucaris, who is also newly added to the roster this week. Delaware and Danbury beginning just about the same time as us, 7:05, 7:10. And then out in Danville, Illinois, another 8:05 puck drop for the Carolina Thunderbirds and the Danville Dashers. Looking ahead to tomorrow, the Danville Dashers and the Port Huron Prowlers scoring off at 3 o'clock tomorrow. And then, of course, the Elmira Enforcers hanging out with the Watertown Wolves at Watertown Municipal Arena tomorrow night. Now just 25 seconds to go until the pregame festivities start at First Arena here. The Elmira Enforcers loaded down in the tunnel. The Watertown Wolves just about ready to come out here at Q. The Valentine's Day video being shown up on the board here at First Arena once again. And we do indeed want to touch on our starting goalie matchup once again. Joe Young, a 5-1 record on the season, a .311 goals against average, .913 save percentage, squaring off with Jeremy Pominville. And Pominville, the Wolves coming out here, Pominville leading the charge. The Wolves once again dressed in their light gray jerseys with the black trim. And the Wolves once again going to choose to shoot left to right here in the opening period of play. The Elmira Enforcers yet to come out, but the tunnel set, the light show, going to get set to go here. 20 minutes goes on the board. Jeremy Pominville shaking out his ice up there. The Watertown Wolves taking their laps out on the ice. Pominville at 14, 13, and 2 on the season with a .353 goals against average, a .906 save percentage, and 1 shutout coming against the Battle Creek Rumblebees, 7-0 a few short weeks ago. The Elmira Enforcers looking for win number 21 of the season, trying to crawl back to 500 here tonight. The Watertown Wolves trying to improve their 11-7, 0-1 road mark and their 20-15, 2-2 mark overall. Both teams, this is a huge, crucial weekend for both squads, a 3-3, and it's going to be really crucial down the stretch considering Watertown doesn't hit the road again until March 12th. The Elmira Enforcers facing a lot of home time these next few weeks. They play the Mentor Icebreakers on the road in 2 weekends, but for now they're going to spend a lot of time here on home ice. And we now go, don't be alarmed if you're watching on our YouTube feed, the ThunderForce media channel hosting us this weekend. Don't be alarmed, it's gone dark here at First Arena. The Enforcers getting the arena completely dark when they do their pre-game show, but now the video pops up on the board here. The Enforcers once again showing their highlight clip video from their recent road trip. The Enforcers taking 3 straight wins and had their 6-game win streak snapped at the hands of the Watertown Wolves last night. Enforcers 2 wins over the Danville Dashers and 1 against the Port Huron Prowlers. Something to note for Watertown and Watertown Wolves fans, considering both teams play the Watertown Wolves in the upcoming weekends. Interesting to see, similar goal to what we had last night, a shot from just inside the blue line, ricocheting off the goalpost and into the net. That was Cole Sonstabo's shorthanded goal late in period number 2. And we never even touched on our scoring update from last night, and actually we're going to get right into this one. JT Walters, the lone goal for the Elmira Enforcers last night. Passingham turned away 39 of 42, and it's going to be whoever turns in the better performance. Joe Young, of course, scoring for the Elmira Enforcers here tonight. The better netminder going to go tomorrow up in Watertown at 4 p.m. on Healthcare Appreciation Night. Get your tickets from the Watertown Municipal Arena box office or by visiting Kinney's Drudge Store. Immediately, the Watertown Wolves receiving a bid boost from Jamie Lucas, Ryan Marker, and Cole Sonstabo last night, each tallying a goal. Ryan Marker winning number 1 star with a goal and 2 assists last night. Jeremy Pominville stopping 37 of 38. He had himself a night. And both teams going 4 for 4 on the penalty kill, 0 for 4 night on the power play for both teams. And I don't know if you heard our coach's corner, once again, how well you were able to pick that up thanks to our feed. But Tyler Jurich, since coming over to the Elmira Enforcers on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Jurich had been on absolute fire. He had multi-point affairs in 5 contests, and he had scored in 6 straight games of the 8 contests he's worn in Elmira Enforcers uniform. He's had 14 total points since coming over and putting on the neon green and black. And once again, the pregame festivities going on, brutal down here on the ice. The Elmira Jackals youth squad being introduced here, or at least a few members of their team that could make it out here tonight. The Jackals playing in the February Freeze tournament on the rec rink this morning. Watertown Wolves unable to take a morning skate, but to rarity they usually do on the road to begin with, as head coach Paul McLean, especially in a weekend like this, a 3-3, likes to keep the team fresh, keep the legs fresh. With that February Freeze tournament, that was fun to watch earlier. I popped down to the rec rink for a little bit earlier. All the kids were well involved in that, and some of the Elmira Enforcers players coming out to watch that. It's nice to see the community support for hockey here in Elmira, and the community support, of course, for hockey in Watertown. You heard Paul McLean say it himself. The community support in Watertown for hockey is nothing else. All the fans love it up there. The fans support it with open arms. And, of course, the North Country, a prime spot for hockey. Now the tunnel's all set up. The light show set up here. We're just a couple minutes away. 7:09 here, so it looks like we're going to get underway a little bit later than when we started last night, considering we began last night at 7:15 rather. Tom Tracy now coming back out on the ice here for the Elmira Enforcers. Tracy, I forgot to mention that, Tom Tracy added to the roster once again here for the Elmira Enforcers this afternoon, just about an hour before game time. He showed up here at the arena. You have to get 10 games in to be able to play in the FPHL Commissioner's Cup playoffs. The Enforcers 21 games left on the schedule. The exhibition on Wednesday against the police department won't count, so Tom Tracy probably going to play in these 2 this weekend, get halfway to the margin, come on back next weekend and play, and basically continue heading into the playoffs. The roster introductions continue here for Elmira, and we've just been handed our starting lineup once again here for tonight. And as you'd expect for the Elmira Enforcers, the top line goes Zach Peace on the left side, centered by Kyle Stevens, And on the right side goes Ahmed Mahfouz. The D pairing a little bit different. Dale Dion running out with JT Walters tonight. And the Enforcers going to have a full 6D here tonight as they sign Kyler Matthews. The Sooner Canton season recently finished, so Kyler Matthews came on down. Coach Clark called him up after practice this morning. He arrived in town. Going to be sharing an apartment with some of these other Enforcers guys downtown. And that's that for the Elmira Enforcers. And as for the Watertown Wolves, Jamie Lucas on the left side, centered by Derek Berdrell and Ryan Marker. That top line, a huge boost for the Watertown Wolves last night, and basically in recent memory, I can't think of a game all season where the Watertown Wolves top line, or at least since the trade of Tyler Jurich anyways, has not been able to produce a point. Vladimir Poor on the lefty and Kyle Powell going on the right side. Now Troy Passingham being introduced as the backup netminder, and you got to hand it to Troy Passingham last night, Watertown. Now mighty Joe Young announced here. So Joe Young, the starter, the Enforcers standing on their own blue line. Troy Passingham turning away 39 of 41 in last night's game. Ahmed Mahfouz comes out, and you got to think the national anthem looming large here. It's still black here in First Arena. Pitch dark, as we said. They do a light show over on the far side. And we got to give a big hand to Robbie Nichols running the PA system this weekend for the Elmira Enforcers. And all the fans stand here at First Arena as we get set for the national anthem. We'll pick it up with our crowd mic here the best we can. Stay right with us.
Please stay standing for the singing of O Canada. Tonight sung by North Penn Mansfield High School, Jubilation Singers and Warren Allen Miller Singers.
A terrific performance of God Bless America here tonight, and now we've got O Canada, it sounds like here. Sit taps all around. Terrific performances tonight of God Bless America and O Canada. Fans go absolutely stir crazy here at First Arena. The lights come back on and we're just about ready for hockey here. You gotta love the events like that. We were told we were just getting God Bless America and O Canada tonight, but the national anthem, the typical song here. The scoreboard comes back on. 20 minutes goes up on the board. 0-0-0 in shots. The board has been completely cleared, and once again touching on our starters. The forward starting line for the Elmira Enforcers. Kyle Stevens has Zach Peace on his left and Ahmed Mahfouz on his right. And on the defensive end, it's Dale Dion and JT Walters. For the Wolves, it's Jamie Lucas and Ryan Marker on the wings as Derek Boudreau counters the middle. On the defensive side, Kyle Powell and Vladimir Poor. Jeremy Pominville mans the crease for the Watertown Wolves, and the netminder for the Elmira Enforcers, mighty Joe Young. Once again, Joe Young, 5 win, 1 loss on the season. Joe Young absolutely terrific in every teamer on the Fed has seen of him this season. Joe Young, despite only playing 12 games in 4 years at Union College, a reliable backup netminder. He's proven here in the Federal Prospects Hockey League. Both teams starting lineups now out on the ice here, and once again a huge thank you to all of you who have tuned in here tonight on either the ThunderForce Media YouTube page or here on Mitchler.com to listen to the finale of the weekend here from First Arena. We have the same officiating crew as last night here. Chad R. Hammond, the ad goes up on the board. Typical what we see before we get opening face-off here. It's going to be Derek Boudreau to take the opening draw against Kyle Stevens here. Kyle Stevens centering Zach Peace and Ahmed Mahfouz. Peace and Boudreau come to the middle, and we're ready for hockey. Stevens flipping the draw back. It's JT Walters chasing. Young comes out and taps it for JT Walters. Walters circling around the net here. The Enforcers setting up an early rush. He saucers it over to Dale Dion, who flips it up to Ahmed Mahfouz. Mahfouz cutting back to the middle, saucers it to Peace. Peace throwing it on, and it's blocked away by Powell. Peace picks it up on the boards, circles around. He has Kyle Stevens in front of him. Boudreau gets his stick in there, and Stevens forced to get it back to Mahfouz. Mahfouz around, sending back to Peace. Peace with a shot, and it's held on to by Jeremy Pominville. Pominville dropping it between his legs and holding on to it between his blockers here early in this one. Just 29 seconds gone. The Watertown Wolves and the Elmira Enforcers. The Enforcers looking to get back to 500 on the season at home, and the Wolves have a lot on the line as well as they're looking to jump the Elmira Enforcers in the standings for second place in the East. Bullard and Hussey the draw, and Bullard winning it. Bodzio and Davini across center. Davini firing it through the legs of Babenko here. No luck for either. Picked up now in the corner by Hussey. Hussey can't get it to go. Davini in front of the net, and it's held on to by Joe Young here. 44 seconds already gone. Time ticking away slowly here. Both goalies not giving either team an opportunity to get a chance for a redirection. Redirections, a lot of the reason why we had so much offense last night. Every goal was turned in by a rush last night. All four, 3 for the Wolves and 1 for the Enforcers. Yarwood with the puck back behind the net of mighty Joe Young. Yarwood circling around, giving it up to Harrison here. Harrison bangs it off the boards. Babenko in the chase. Sanstabo gets it over to Tyler Bullard here. Bullard across center, throwing it off to the left behind Joe Young. The Enforcers trying to recover here. Getting in Kyler Matthews. Matthews signed to a PTO earlier today as Young kicks that one into the corner. It's Bodzil throwing it around and Yarwood recovers. He gets it to Matthews. Matthews can't get it to go. Now Matthews comes, kicks it on his stick. Matthews firing it in and in the logo. Stopped by Pominville. 18:37 remaining. Each team with just a single shot here in the opening moments of this one. Should be interesting. The product of hockey we see down the stretch in this one. Once again, the goaltenders on the ice, my bad. Jeremy Pominville and Joe Young. Pominville, a second straight night for the Watertown Wolves, and you got to think Mike Cosentino would go tomorrow night, depending on how this one goes. You can't have a goalie go 3 nights in a row and expect him to be successful, all 3. A fight on the boards here, and Mark Essery thrown down to the ground here. It's pulled out. A whistle sounds here. It's like they're going to call the puck back to the neutral zone here on this one. Rather, they're just going to whistle it dead. The faceoff will come off to the left of Joe Young here. Actually, indeed, they are going to take it back to the neutral zone. So, okay, they are whistling this one out of play. It's going to be Boudreau and Hudson Michaelis. Michaelis gets it over to Ashery, who swings it back to Minnie. Minnie over to Patterson, who bangs it up. Ashery has possession in front of the blue line, and he sends to Michaelis here. Michaelis with a gift wrap, comes around, fires it, and Pominville blocks away. Jared Boudreau now with the puck in the corner. Boudreau getting up to Ryan Marker. Marker crosses center and lightly taps it down ice. Goes all the way around the net, and Gino Minnie has it. Michaelis pulls it out, and Patterson has it behind the net. Patterson with an easy tap over to Ashery. Ashery trying to get it down ice. Powell gets possession. The Wolves hold in the zone. Boudreau cutting back to the middle. Young makes the save. The Enforcers trying to pull it out. Can't do it. Now finally they do. Essery tapping it all the way back to center ice. Kyle Powell comes back. He had poor. He tries to go back to center ice. Gino Minnie getting a hold of it for the Elmira Enforcers now. Minnie over to Patterson. Patterson across the blue line. Patterson cutting back through the circle, firing it in, and it was wide of the net, going all the way to the far side and flanking off the glass. Dion to Pominville blocked away. Kyle Powell throws it up here. Tyler Jurich getting his first shift of the night for the Elmira Enforcers here, and it was a short one as he heads right back to the bench. Kyle Stevens back around. Zach Peace has it. He goes to Ahmed Mahfouz. Peace and Mahfouz play give and go, and Peace fires it down. Pominville holds on. 17:04 already left on the clock here in period number 1. A fast-moving game here already in this one. The Watertown Wolves and the Elmira Enforcers in the second of 3 here from First Arena in Elmira. It's Tyler Bullard and Kyle Stevens, and Bullard takes it back onto the stick of Coachman here. Coachman trying to go around with it. Got it lost, and Sanstabo picks it up in the corner. The teammates helping out each other on the defensive side. Mahfouz taking Bullard and Sanstabo to the ice over there in the corner. I lost sight of that one, but now the puck flipped all the way down by the Enforcers here, and Joe Young comes out to set up. Bad turnover, Bodzil throwing it on, and Young gloved that one down. Fired in, and the Wolves bury it. Now 26, no, that's 25. Joe Davini making the Enforcers pay on a turnover. Joe Davini circling around the net, coming around, got it. Joe Young, bad turnover. Joe Young couldn't get a hold of it, went off into the corner. Instant replay there. Joe Davini made him pay. The Watertown Wolves with a early 1-0 lead in this one. Just 3:23 gone here from First Arena. Joe Davini with another goal for the Watertown Wolves after winning 3rd star of the game last night. Cameron Yarwood saucering it over. Can be held by Matthews. Hussey circles around with the puck. He loses it between his legs. Now Tracy forced to retreat here. Tracy bangs it off the boards, goes down behind the net. Pominville holds on. Pominville going over to Zajac. Zajac held on closely by Tracy, and Zajac flips it over to the far side. Hussey around with it. Hussey back to Matthews here. Matthews over to Yarwood. Yarwood up, held on to by Sherman. Sherman on the board, stripped of the puck by Yarwood. Yarwood over to Matthews once again. Matthews through the circle, back to the middle to Yarwood. Yarwood up to Matthews. No, rather, that's Babenko. Babenko wearing number 20 for the Elmira Enforcers. Another jersey change for the Elmira Enforcers here today. Babenko going from 21 to 20 now. Forgot about that, my bad. As now it's back behind the net. Justin Natris and Glenn Patterson in a duel in the corner, and it's pulled out by the Wolves. Ryan Marker going up to Jamie Lucas. Lucas around Minnie and Hussey off him, and Young stops that one down. Young pulling up full shoulder here. Joe Young proving why the Enforcers fans call him Mighty. Chance of Mighty Joe Young going through the arena as the Enforcers clear down ice. The whistle sound for icing. The Watertown Wolves with an early 4-2 shot advantage here over the Elmira Enforcers. And once again, Wolves fans, your team returns to home ice tomorrow beginning at 4 p.m. Gates opening at 2:30 p.m. for Healthcare Appreciation Night. Tickets just $10 with proof of healthcare employment. And then, of course, that's just the beginning of a 10-game homestand. A lot of your Wolves on home ice these next few weeks. The Wolves winning the draw and firing an easy one on Troy. Not Troy Passingham here. Troy Passingham thinking back to last night. Passingham marvelous in the opening two before surrendering to the Wolves down the stretch. Going to be another face-off off to the right of Joe Young here. The Wolves just nearly losing this one out. Gino Mini pulling it around to Andrew Harrison. Harrison banging out the boards, going over to Gino Mini here. Mini trying to bang it down ice. Kyle Powell gets possession, and he gets it over Lucas just barely. Harrison sneaks around and steals it out. Harrison swinging it off the board, goes down, and Jeremy Pominville holds on to this one. 5:03 to go, or 5:03 gone here in period number one, and it shows up on our YouTube feed on the ThunderForce media channel here, www.youtube.com/c/ThunderForce media. Tonight's a post-game jersey auction here in Elmira, and a big crowd on hand here tonight, a lot bigger than last night, Valentine's Day. Once again, hope you enjoyed your Valentine's Day last night with you and yours. We're just in the middle of hockey weekend in America here, a big weekend for both squads as Dion back on his own blue line. Gets it up here to Michaelis. Michaelis going over to George on the far boards. Has it over to Harrison. Harrison trying to go around to Michaelis, and the Wolves intercept the pass. Now Sansibo comes around with it. Sansibo drags it up to Bullard. Bullard through center, across the blue line, going over to Davini. Davini back to Bullard. Bullard cutting around, and Young makes the stop. Joe Young with an easy stop. Tyler Bullard finds himself down in the corner. Tyler Bullard coming off 4 seasons at SUNY Canton. He was a teammate of newly added to the roster enforcer Kyler Matthews. Kyler Matthews, of course. And once again, if you want to hear from Kyler Matthews, I don't always recommend it since this is a Watertown broadcast, but I did get to hear John's interview. John Clement, the great broadcaster from the Elmira Enforcers, doing an interview with Kyler Matthews earlier, and some quality content, some laughs, some excitement. So at second intermission, you might want to flip over and hear that great interview, especially if you're a big fan of Tyler Bullard, considering John asked him about the team relation. Marker dumps it now behind the net, and Dale Dion getting on it here. Dale Dion up to Zach Peace, and it's whistled dead here. Once again, an icing on, not an icing, my bad, no clear on that, but an offsides on the Watertown Wolves here. So it's going to come back to the neutral zone once again. Going to be on the far side in front of the Elmira Enforcers bench. The Enforcers and Wolves both with a loaded bench here. The Enforcers all sitting down and the Wolves all on their feet here. Wolves once again going from left to right here at First Arena. The Enforcers traveling right to left here in this opening period of action. Kyler Matthews with a hit pass down ice to Mafouz. Mafouz cutting around. Goes over to Zach Peace here, who fires it in, and Pominville making a stop and making a second stop on Mafouz here. Jeremy Pominville, 2 easy stops. Jeremy Pominville not letting the Enforcers get anything on him here. Whatever he sees, he's holding on, whether it's banged to him off the board, whether it's swatted at him, whether it's skittered at him. Jeremy Pominville holds up. Now the draw, one back here by Corey Sherman, and it circles all around. Kyler Matthews picking it up for the Elmira Enforcers, banging it up off the boards. Now Zad Peace skittering it around, trying to go to Mafuz, and Dennis Zajac getting in the way. Zajac, a gritty player this weekend, as we've seen Sherman coming in. Sherman can't get it to go, as it was another blot shot. The Enforcers defense have plenty of them this weekend. Sherman back behind the net. A stick lost here. Joe Young doesn't have his stick. Kyle Powell in. Joe Young going full blockers here, and Kyle Stevens pulls it out. Stevens up to Mafuz across the blue line. Mafuz around. Vladimir Port got a stick on. Mafuz got thrown into the boards. Stevens now in the corner, and Zajac pulls it out from him there. A lot of board battles this weekend. Gritty play by both sides. Bombay stick game. A delayed penalty going to go on the Elmira Enforcers here. So Jeremy Pominville heading off to the bench was for what happened over in the corner. Going to be a slashing call. I think it'll go on Ahmed Mafuz here, but we shall see. Derek Pedro cutting around, going to the blue line, cutting back to the middle. Derek Pedro coming around. And finally, offsides whistled on the Watertown Wolves here once again. 12:37 to go in period number one. A fast-paced game once again here. And who are they going to send off? It's going to be Ahmed Mafuz indeed. Ahmed Mafuz going off 2 minutes for slashing. The Wolves power play coming in 21.7%. Good for fourth in the league. In many comparisons amongst the special teams, the Enforcers power play at third, but the Elmira penalty kill fifth in the league. So league average 82.8%. The face-off off to the right of Joe Young here. Ahmed Mafuz in the box for 2 minutes for tripping for the Elmira Enforcers, and the Wolves win the drawback. Powell gets steamrolled by Babenko. Zajac cutting around. Zajac firing it in, and it's off the post. The Wolves coming back around. Powell has it off in front of the circle. The Enforcers stick it away, and it goes back down ice, banging off the boards. Pominville comes up to reset here for the Watertown Wolves, getting it up off the stick of Hussey. Powell now to Marker. Marker through the blue line, dumping back to Lucas. Lucas with a bombastic pass up to Ryan Marker. Now going back to Powell at the point. Powell over to Marker. Marker cutting around. Joe Young not having to make a stop. Another blot shot for the Enforcers defense here. The top penalty kill unit on. Boudreau over to Marker. Marker in the corner. Cutting back around and going to Sherman here. Sherman over to Boudreau rather. And Walters. Walters gets it steamrolled away, and Hussey coming back to center, bangs it off the Enforcers' ticket sign, and Pominville holds up with this one once again. Already 57 seconds gone on the power play for the Watertown Wolves. The Wolves setting up another rush here. Bullard going full force down to Davini. Davini trying to go back to Bullard, and the pass taken by Michaelis. Michaelis to Davini. Davini across the blue line here. Davini has Badzio, and he goes. Badzio into the corner, cutting back around, trying to go to Davini. Walters got a stick on it, and the Wolves have to retreat back at center ice once again. Davini going back to Bullard. Bullard back behind the blue line. Michaelis covers here, and he was trying to do a hit pass down to Davini, and an icing call here on the Watertown Wolves as it found its way behind the goal line. 29 seconds remaining on the Ahmed Mafuz tripping penalty here, and once again more fans filing in here at First Arena. A lot of gray down in the stands. Last night, a Friday night, Valentine's Day. A lot of fans not making the trip from Watertown, but thank you Watertown fans who made the trip out here to First Arena tonight. Hussey winning the draw for the Elmira Enforcers, coming full force off the circle and battling for it in the corner. Babenko tipping it back to Patterson here. Patterson trying to throw it up, and Bullard intercepted the pass. Bullard coming to the blue line, going over to the far side of Badzio. And Badzio easily slows this one down before he goes back to Desjardins, who we haven't seen all that much of tonight. Glenn Patterson bangs it off the boards, goes all the way back down ice. Jeremy Pominville hits it with his stick, and he flattens it down for Desjardins as the penalty on Ahmed Mafuz expires. Mafuz back on the ice here for the Elmira Enforcers. Mafuz, the all-time leading scorer in the FPHL, always a force to be reckoned with. Just recently hit his 800th FPHL point here in the Fed as Mark Essery fires one all full in on Jeremy Pominville as we get another stoppage in play here. 10:23 to go in period one. The Wolves a 6-5 lead in shots on the Elmira Enforcers here early in this one. Obviously, the Watertown Wolves trailing just in the season series now, 4-3. The Wolves also looking to even the season series up as Juric throws it in, and Pominville in the logo making another stop here. Jeremy Pominville coming up once again clutch for the Watertown Wolves. here tonight. Jeremy Baumanville stopping 38 of 39 shots last night. He had himself a game, and it was nice chatting with him before the game prior out on the concourse. I joined him for a lap or two of his pregame run around the arena earlier after the Wolves hit the arena here in town. That was quite interesting. I never know how fast a pro athlete can run until you're actually doing it with him. Derek Boudreau over to Ryan Marker through the blue line, going over to Lucas. Lucas around, going to the middle. Marker can't hold it, and Dale Dion forcing it out. Dion going over to Michaels. Michaels to Jurich. Jurich through the blue line, coming back around. Jurich throwing it in, and it's over the top of the net. Out of play here, as they say, that one brushed the netting. 9:50 to go in period number 1, and the media timeout comes your way. The timeout always coming after the 10-minute mark when we're at even strength. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on Mitchler and YouTube.com.
Happy Friday and Saturday, #Blue Nation. Remember to stop on out to our Above Tuesday event at Above Reality Virtual Sports Complex this Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and hang out with your favorite Wolves players. Check out the virtual reality experiences. Even challenge the Wolves players to a game of pool or a round of golf. There is no limit to the fun you can have when you are above reality. Let's give Caleb's Pizzeria of Watertown a howling welcome as one of our new sponsors for the 2019-20 hockey season. Keep your eyes open as we'll be giving away a gift certificate from Caleb's at every home game this season. Who wants to win one of these gift certificates?
Back on here with you at First Arena as the horn sounds. We're back and ready to play some more hockey. A fast-paced game here from First Arena once again tonight. The first 10-10, and this one moving through so quick. And we're now ready for some more hockey. The media timeout gone, and the Enforcers win the draw back. Jurich has it. Jurich fought in the corner with Desjardins. He goes to Michaelis. Michaelis having to go back to Minnie, and Minnie can't hold as it goes all the way back down ice here. Icing waved off by the officials here as Minnie comes around. Minnie having Badzil on him here. Badzil trying to flip it around, and it's pulled out by the Enforcers D. Banged up off the glass by Michaelis. Jurich on a rush here. Jurich has no one behind him, and he has to fight with Desjardins on the boards. He goes far side over to Michaelis here. Fires it on. Pominville can't get it to go, and a shot by Harrison. Pominville all the way around, banging off the glass. And the referees now whistle this one dead. 9:14 remaining on the clock in period number 1. Enforcers just with that one taking a 7-6 lead in shots on goal. Not sure why they whistled this one dead here. An explanation being given to both coaches here. Gino Mini being forced off the ice here. Gino Mini being taken off the ice here. Not sure exactly what just happened. Gino Mini, no helmet. Discussion still going on amongst the referees and the officials here. They're going to send off Justin Natris here. So that dirty play over on the boards, Justin Natris and Gino Mini, both guys out of this game now apparently. They're at least going to be out for the rest of this opening period. Both guys leaving their sticks over on the benches, so we shall have to see. We're going to pull up our stat page on the FPHL.com and see what that can tell us here. Discussion going on down in the stat booth off to the right here too, so I don't think anybody knows what's going on in the moment. The players out on the ice, discussions amongst the referees going on here. Nothing has appeared on the FPHL stat website yet. Nothing has been said over the loudspeaker here at First Arena, so we'll have to see. The ice crew fits in the ice now. Over onto the Texas Roadhouse side of the Elmira Enforcers side. The junior reporter of the Elmira Enforcers now being shown up on the board here as the community relations team trying to figure out how to fill this brief moment. We're just fresh off the media timeout. Not long later, we now get this stoppage in play here from First Arena, and we're going to run through our head of the pack tidbits for here for you now. Since the departure of Tyler Jurich being traded over to the Enforcers on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the Wolves have leaned heavily on Kyle Powell and Derek Boudreau for offensive support. The recent acquisition of Ryan Marker also proving a big addition as well. Watertown looking to regain its winning ways after being stymied by Carolina last week. The win on Friday has them looking to reclaim second place in the East Division with a win here tonight. And Danbury is the top of the division, not making things any easier for any team. Danbury just keeps right on rolling. They got off to a slow start in the season, 1-6-1-1, and they're opening 9 games of the season. And then, of course, they've gone on an absolute tear. 25-9-2-2 the record now as they sit on the top of the East Division. Wide margin, 14 points separate the Elmira Enforcers and the Danbury Hat-Tricks. The Wolves have continued to make roster adjustments as the SPHL has called up several members in the core of the team continues to look for stability. Nicholas Calpuzos was loaned to Roanoke once again earlier this week, so that's left Watertown with a big hole. But Dennis Zajac, he's done a nice job of filling that hole for the Watertown Wolves up front. Refreshing the stat page here on the FBHL website. Still nothing coming up, still discussions going on the ice down below. 9:14 remaining in period number 1. The Wolves a 1-0 lead over the Elmira Enforcers. Joe Davini, another clutch goal for the Watertown Wolves. The Enforcers an 8-6 lead in shots here early in this one. Once again, another entertaining junior reporter video going on up on the big board here at First Arena. Probably one of the better ones we've seen this season. Troy Passingham, always a great interview for the Elmira Enforcers. Great teammate, great goaltender. Troy Passingham, all you could ask for. He recently hit his 50th pro win just a few short weeks ago. And Glenn Patterson of the Elmira Enforcers also on the brink of a milestone as well. Patterson, if he plays tomorrow night, going to hit his 150th career pro game. Patterson, if you don't know, Wolves fan, a big supporter of local charities here around Elmira. Patterson always donating money for Enforcers accomplishment. The doors to the penalty box is now shut. The ice crew heads off. Still no Mini and Natris here. 9:14 to go in period number 1. The Wolves a 1-0 lead over the Elmira Enforcers here from First Arena. Davini from Bazzio, the lone goal, 3:23 into this one. Nothing goes on the penalty summary, but they're going to bring this back to center ice. We'll get to the bottom of all of this at first intermission and see what we can bring you here. But Hudson Michaelis getting the draw back onto the stick of Kyler Matthews. Matthews up to Michaelis, and Michaelis dumps down ice. Michaelis and Pominville holds on. Pominville battled it off the boards, and Boudreau holds on. Boudreau over to Coachman, back to Boudreau here. Boudreau going down ice to Lucas. Lucas banging it up and out of play as it hits the glass up above the head of Troy Passingham here in this one. Just a few seconds ticking off, 8:55 to go. A lot of hockey already played in this weekend and a lot more hockey still to go. They're going to bring the draw back to center ice on this one. Hudson Michaelis just beating out Garrett Boudreau and plenty of faceoffs this weekend. Gets it back to Yarwood. Yarwood coming around. Yarwood soccering it up off the board, trying to get it to Michaelis. Yarwood dragging it over to Boudreau here. Boudreau has Matthews on him. Matthews with the takedown. No penalty whistled here. The Enforcers back on a rush. Michaelis across center. Coming back around. Natris has it. Natris finding Boudreau on a hit pass. Lucas coming around, laying back to Marker. Marker going on wide of the net. Over into the corner. Boudreau now picks it up. Boudreau coming around. Juritz there. Now Ryan Marker circling around the net. Marker trying to lose his tail in Jurich, and he goes back at the point. Fired on, and no luck here for the Watertown Wolves. Tyler Jurich getting over to Michaelis. Michaelis and Jurich on a rush. Michaelis going over to Jurich. The pass low and short. Desjardins with a big stick in the corner. Can't get it off the feet of Tyler Jurich here. Circled around, goes by Zio over to Ryan Marker. Marker through center, cutting around. Going over, he's flattened onto the boards by Patterson, circling around into the corner. The Enforcers grabbing it out. Tom Tracy to Mafuz. Mafuz to center to Peace. Peace across center ice on the near side, going across the blind, firing it in, and Zach Peace scores. I think that ends the goal horn here. The goal horn in Elmira, if you've never been here to First Arena, loud and obnoxious. Every time the Enforcers fans score, and the building goes absolutely nuts as well. So this place absolutely erupts. Zach Peace had a his 8th goal of the season, his 2nd one since coming over to the Elmira Enforcers in a trade from the Columbus River Dragons a few weeks ago. And we're right back underway here. Bullard winning the draw to Sanstable, over to Coachman, back to Sanstable. Sanstable on the Texas Roadhouse sign, going over to Baggio. Baggio to Bullard. Bullard coming around, Mafuz on him here, trying to go to Sanstable. Sanstable can't hold. Back to center ice, going to Bullard. Bullard across the blue line, coming around, firing it over the net of mighty Joe Young. Held down by Joe Davini. Davini already with a goal in the game. Davini picking up an assist on that one. As it's now picked up in the corner by Patterson. Patterson sparring it around, going up to Ahmed Mafuz. Ahmed Mafuz going all the way down. Rather, my bad, not a goal and an assist. That'd be one goal for Joe Davini in this one. He had an assist last night. Should have clarified that to begin with. But our score 1-1 here. Zach Peace, the assist coming from Ahmed Mafuz and Cameron Yarwood, as we're now playing to a tie here from First Arena. 7:07 to play in the opening period of action. A 9-6 shot lead for the Elmira Enforcers. Boudreau tipping the puck back to Natris. Natris firing it on over the glove of Joe Young, barely. Now Lucas picking it up. Lucas going around, hit off the stick. Cole Sanstable, big battle behind the net. Glove flattened out by Glenn Patterson here. Patterson having to pick up his glove and his stick here. The Wolves happy to help. Was Ryan Marker back there behind the net. Not Cole Sanstable. Glenn Patterson he took a stick to his hand here. He was checking on his hand, maybe a cut or something. Licking it off, putting his glove right back on. Glenn Patterson. Everybody in hockey, you can't be in hockey if you're not tough. But that whole play is going to draw a penalty. It's going to go a slashing call on Ryan Marker for knocking the stick and glove off of Glenn Patterson here. So Ryan Marker going to head to the sin bin. The Elmira power play, 3rd in the league, 22.5%, taking on the Watertown penalty kill at 80%, 8th in the league. Both teams with a perfect night on the PK last night. Have to see if that continues this time around. Ahmed Mafuz and Derek Boudreau to take the draw. The penalty yet to be put up on the board here. 1-1 tie from First Arena. The Watertown Wolves and the Elmira Enforcers. Once again, thank you to ThunderForce Media for sponsoring our broadcast here on YouTube this weekend. And if you're tuning in to listen with us on Mitchler.com as well, definitely a lot better audio on Mitchler tonight as well. They give Marker 4 minutes on that. They give him an interference major penalty for that. Okay, so the Elmira power play, the Wolves forced with a big penalty kill here, and Boudreau, instant upgrade, brought back in the corner by Coachman here as the Wolves took that draw. Coachman, Patterson and Jurich on him here, and Mafuz whistles it out. Mafuz back to Yarwood. Yarwood banging it off the board. Mafuz coming around. Mafuz up to Glenn Patterson. Patterson back at the point to Yarwood. Yarwood over to Dion. The Enforcers running the gauntlet here. It goes back to Yarwood, and Yarwood fires a slapper that won't go. Dion and Boudreau on the boards. Boudreau with a stick on him here. Dion coming around in front of the blue line. Dion and Yarwood switching roles on the power play. Dion now running the point. Dion coming around. Arnett Health, he goes to Mafuz. Mafuz trying to hold the pass. Mafuz looking as a setup man here on this power play. As Yarwood fires a slapper and it can't go. Sanstable over into the corner. The Enforcers battle for it on the boards. Jamie Lucas pulling this one out. 3:07 to go on the Wolves penalty kills. Lucas dumps it down. Wolves getting a change off here. 5:54 to go in the period. Yarwood holds on to this one. Enforcers keeping the same unit out here. Dale Dion, Cameron Yarwood, Ahmed Mafuz, Hudson Michaelis, and Tyler Jurich. Power play unit that's given them so much success the last few weeks as Mafuz trying to pull it out. Another 0 for 4 night on the power play last night for the Elmira Enforcers. Power play goal hasn't come in 3 straight games as Yarwood cuts back on the blue line. Yarwood back to Mafuz here. Mafuz whistles it off his skate and goes back behind the net. Jurich now picking it up off the boards. 5:23 to go in the period. 2:30 to go on the kill, and Jurich couldn't get it to go as Pominville blocked that one away. Matthews now out on the ice here in a crucial moment, going over to Yarwood. Yarwood back to Matthews here. Matthews winding up, fires, and Pominville off the glove. Picked up and cleared down ice now by Liam Little. Little, the forward on this team. We haven't seen all too much this weekend, an uneven number of forwards. So Liam Little coming out on the ice, and a crucial moment here for the Watertown Wolves. Exactly 2 minutes gone on the Ryan Marker penalty. So the Enforcers are already 2 minutes They have not scored on here. Once again, that's going to go as a good thing for the Watertown Wolves. The penalty kill, despite being 80% on the year, 8th of the league, near bottom, have been good in recent weeks. Lucas now trying to go to Boudreau. The Wolves have it in the offensive end here. The Enforcers with heavy pressure, though. Boudreau going back on a break. Lucas on the far side. Michael is cutting around. He's got George and Harrison behind him. Michaels, however, goes behind the boards. Banged off. Weiss Market's ad here. Is George going to Harrison. Harrison to George. George can't go. Blockered away by Pominville once again. Pominville tipping away a lot of these behind the net on the Elmira power play. Pominville with a clutch night once again for the Watertown Wolves. Pominville to Michaelis. Michaelis going back to Patterson. Patterson running the point, going back to Michaelis. Give and go hockey here as Patterson in front of the blue line. Whistles back his skate. The Enforcers can't get it to go in front of the net. Sanstebo throwing it on Harrison into the boards here. Jurich cutting around. Heavy pressure from Boudreau. Walters settles around with it. Walters has nobody there on the near side. Patterson comes back around. It's a little bit late. He dumps it behind the boards. Coachman over with Harrison. Harrison over to Michaelis. Michaelis can't go. Shoulder pad. Harrison now. Harrison can't go. Blocked shot by Justin Coachman. Down ice, the Wolves clear it. Joe Young fires up to Patterson here in front of the blue line. Patterson up to Mafuz. Mafuz in front of the blue line. Mafuz cutting around. The heavily pressured here is Mafuz through the circle now. Going, and it can't go. Jeremy Pominville here. Now over into the corner. Coachman pulling it out. Yarwood to Patterson just in front of the blue stripe. Fired on by Yarwood this time around, and Mafuz picking it up off the block rail. Pominville once again. 10 seconds to go on the Elmira power play. Mafuz in, hitting up off the glass. Watertown, 4 seconds to go. 3 seconds, and they clear it down ice. 1 second, and that's it. The Watertown Wolves, a huge penalty kill over the Elmira Enforcers in this one. A 1-1 tie. Our score remains here. Goal from the Wolves coming by Joe Davini early in this one, and the Elmira goal coming from Zach Pease if you're just joining us in this one. Glenn Patterson to Mafuz behind the boards, trying to center it. Stevens can't hold it, and Yarwood forced to retreat back to hold on to this one. Yarwood just picking up in front of the net, and he circles around mighty Joe Young here, going back to Glenn Patterson. Patterson trying to find it. Tyler Bullard getting in the way here. Bullard drawing a lot of penalty minutes when he was at SUNY Canton, and he's continued his physical presence on the ice since coming into the FPHL. Don't want to say the NHL, I'm thinking the Stadium Series tonight. Stadium Series is hockey weekend across America continues out from the Military Academy. The Kings and the Avalanche in action tonight. Glenn Patterson fighting for it on the boards with Lucas Mafuz tipping it out to Desjardins. Desjardins firing it goes up into the stands. Fans duck, ends up just barely over the head. Came within inches of a brown-haired female sitting in front of a bunch of Enforcers jerseys over on the far side. 1:46 to go in period one. They bring this one back to center ice. No intentional stoppage in play here, so we keep on rolling. Hussey back to Dion, who goes over to Walters. Walters over to Dion once again. Dion coming around through center, back across the blue line. Marker has it, he loses it, and Hussey fired that one in. Pominville dropped that one closely. It's Coachman and Sanstebo, the deep pairing now. Coachman has it behind the net as the Wolves get set on another rush here. 1:26 to go in period number one. Walters has it at center ice, and he goes to Hussey now. Hussey cutting around, going over to Ryan Marker. Marker over to Dion. Dion taken down, no penalty on Lucas. Now the whistle sounds. Joe Young trying to go to the bench. Jamie Lucas going to head to the box here for the Watertown Wolves. A 2-minute tripping call, so the Enforcer's going to head right back to the man advantage. Lucas taking a seat for 2 minutes in the sin bin now. Elmira power play, as we said, could basically very much well say 0 for 2 after not being able to score on the 4-minute long Ryan Marker major penalty. Elmira power play entered the night, third in the league, 22.5, been on a roll in recent week. Shut down last night and shut down last week. Yarwood couldn't get that one to go as Pominville stopped it, and Yarwood finds the puck back on his day. He goes over to Patterson now. Patterson dumping to Mafuz behind the net. Mafuz cutting around, just a minute to go in the period. Patterson back behind the blue line, going to Mafuz to Yarwood once again. Yarwood over to Mafuz. Mafuz the setup to Yarwood. Yarwood at the point, firing it in, lightly tapered, and it's behind the net once again. Patterson coming around. It's up ice to Bullard here. And now Yarwood settles up with it just beyond center ice. Yarwood going up to Mafuz now once again. Mafuz cuts through the middle of the blue line here. Mafuz cuts back to the near side. Mafuz going to the center and nobody's there to grab it. Dion now back going over to Juric from the far circle. Juric fires it on. Can't go. It's tipped up out of play. 27.7 seconds to go in our opening 20 minutes of play. Got off to a quick start last night here from First Arena as Watertown added a goal just 3:48 into the game, and the same similarities happening again tonight in this one, 3:23, and so a little bit quicker. Joe Davini having the goal. Jamie Lucas with the lone first period goal last night, and then all the rest of the scoring happening in the second before being shut down in the third. Yarwood in front of the blue line going over to Matthews here. Matthews back to Yarwood, and the Wolves pull it out. It was Desjardins. Yarwood, however, doesn't let it go, picking up just in front of center ice, going over to Matthews, now dumping behind the net. Palmanville settles it down here. Palmanville to Desjardins, over to Juric. Juric cutting around through the circle, goes, tipped up and out of play once again off the blocker of Palmanville. That one caught the stick of Glenn Patterson, headed up in front of the netting here. The ends once again, and down to my left, not very much packed in, but the end down to my right, behind Mighty Joe Young, of course. Filled about 3/4 of the way full. The Enforcers fans love sitting behind the Elmira net, especially when their man, Mighty Joe Young, takes the crease. Ahmed Mahfouz and Derek Boudreau now to take what looks to be the final draw of the period here. 4.1 seconds to go. Boudreau wins it back. Desjardins has it. 2 seconds. 1 second on the boards. And that's it. The horn sounds. 45 seconds to go on the Jamie Lucas penalty when we return to action here at First Arena for period number 2. An entertaining opening 20. Obviously some keys to take out of that one. The Wolves' physicality on the boards continued. The Wolves fought until they dropped, basically. The Wolves heading off into the far corner into their locker room. Elmira heading off. 18 minutes go off on the board. The 11 with 45 seconds remains on the Watertown Wolves side here. Elmira out shooting the Watertown Wolves in the opening 20 minutes, 17-7. The Enforcers just peppering Jeremy Palmanville in this one, and it's definitely showed. The clock now starts, so we've got under 18 minutes until we begin period number 2. Joe Davini, the lone goal for the Watertown Wolves in period number 1. Assist coming from Dominic Ponzio, 3:23 into the period. Once again, thank you for joining us here this evening on YouTube or Mitchler.com. If you're listening on Mitchler, drop us a comment. Where are you listening from? Everything, anything you want to tell us here. We'll take anything, give you a shout out here on our broadcast tonight. Zach Peace, the goal for the Elmira Enforcers. 12:15 remaining in, or 12:15 gone in period number 1, my bad. Zach Peace taking Tom Tracy getting back into the scoring. Tom Tracy with his first point of the season, helping out the Wolves helping out the Enforcers, my bad, in a key time of need, helping the Enforcers get on the board, tie this one up. Enforcers falling 3-1 last night, so the Enforcers already evening the goal total from last night. Big show going on the ice right now as go-karts are circling around the arena now. Go-karts on ice, an event happening at First Arena in just a couple of weeks. And now we're going to cut to our interview with Ryan Marker, if you're able to pick it up here. And we'll be right back here on Mitchler and YouTube.com.
Elmira last night. You guys played hard. What exactly did you see from the team? What I saw yesterday is I saw the team an all-around good effort, good on the defensive zone, good in the offensive zone. Honestly, we stayed pretty disciplined. We're not even too many penalties. We obviously played a good overall, solid game. I couldn't ask so much more for the boys. And what did you see from Jeremy Palmanville last night that kind of increases you guys' confidence going forward?
Jeremy Palmanville played lights out last night. He gave us every advantage to win the game. Of course, he stopped Mahfouz on that break on the penalty shot. That was huge and pretty much shut them down all game. And he played lights out. We're hoping for the same thing again tonight.
And I I talked about this last night with Jamie Lucas and Derek Boudreau. You guys are looking for that consistency. You guys played short last weekend, and now you're kind of getting pieces back to the puzzle. So how does that help?
Well, that definitely helps. I mean, you know, you could play with two lines and get away with it here and there sometimes, but obviously you need the bodies. The bodies are important, you know, for obviously rest, recovery. You know, you can't just rely on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys to win a game. You know, the whole team has to be together to win a game.
And Ryan, now thinking about it, you play more of one of the physical type of games in the league. Can you kind of take me through that?
Yeah, you know, I like to throw the body around. I like to protect the pocket. Obviously, you know, doing that's going to cause me to get hit. Obviously, have to deliver hits also. You know, that's always been my game, and it's going to stay like that.
And now talking about this, you came over here from Delaware a couple weeks ago. What exactly is the state of things in the Delaware organization right now?
No, everything's going good in the Delaware organization. Obviously, no hard feelings. You know, I respect everyone in their organization, and you know they're obviously doing whatever they have to do. You know, to try to find a playoff spot for themselves. It's it's just the way it worked out. You know, it's pro hockey. You know, sometimes not everything is meant to be, and I still respect everyone in the organization.
I've never really talked about this with any of the players I've interviewed before. Well, how does a trade mid-season kind of alter or affect your mindset?
I mean, it can play a decent part of it. Obviously, you're used to certain guys going here and then, coming and doing a new organization. You have to, gain chemistry with certain guys, and it definitely is a little bit different. But I mean, a few practices, a couple weeks with the team, everything starts going, feeling normal again.
Thinking back to last night and also all the times you faced Elmira already this season, who exactly are Elmira's weapons that you guys are specifically trying to shut down?
I think Elmira's weapons are obviously definitely on the defense, and I would say Passingham's a very good goaltender, and they got Tyler Jarrett about a month ago from Watertown. He's obviously a very big key to the puzzle. He can score a ton of goals. I would say them two mainly are the guys we have to watch out for.
And having Kyle Powell and Derek Boudreau contributing night in, night out on your offense, does that kind of relieve the pressure from guys like you?
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely helps, having more than just one scorer. It helps having, multiple guys, putting the puck in the net and, just producing.
And now, Ryan, you guys tonight, you're here, and then tomorrow you go home. But tomorrow's the beginning of a 10-game homestand, so how important is it to you guys to go out and get 3 more points tonight before going home?
Oh, it's huge. It gives us all the momentum going into tomorrow's game. We obviously play Elmira tomorrow night, but we're not really worried about tomorrow night yet. We're worried about this game. We have 60 hard minutes of hockey to play, and then we'll take care of business tomorrow.
Thanks, Ryan. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Colby Smith here with Watertown Wolves forward Tyler Bullard. Tyler coming.
Oh, sorry about that little overrun there, folks. We're back here with you from the First Arena. First intermission long underway here. The go-kart's already off. The nets have been dislodged, and the Zambonis finally heading out to make their rounds around the ice here. Go-karts on ice coming up at First Arena, the opening Saturday of March, Saturday, March 7th. And if you live up in Watertown and you're a go-karts fan, you might want to come down here and visit the First Arena that night. The Enforcer is hosting the Mentor Icebreakers 2 nights prior, so can catch a little FPHL action and then join the Elmira Enforcers for go-karts on ice here. But you might not want to miss support here on Prowlers in action, as the Prowlers visiting the opening weekend of March up to Watertown Municipal Arena. But once again, if you're just tuning in to join us here, the lone goal of the first, Joe Davini for the Watertown Wolves, 3:23 into the frame from Dominic Bonzio. Watertown scoring 25 seconds quicker than they did in the last night's game. Honestly, getting into this one, a minute and a half in, we had already seen 4 faceoffs, thought we were going to have a long night ahead of us, but really, other than our long break between the Mini and Natris thing, and I do have details on that for you now, Gino Mini and Justin Natris, what they were cleaning up on the ice, Gino Mini had puked Gino Mini got hit in the stomach with a stick, and Gino Mini puking right on top of the Texas Roadhouse logo over there. You can still see where they scraped it off over there on the far side. And then Justin Natris, we have no idea why Natris had it off. Maybe he got sick as well. There was no penalties adjourned on the power play, or on the play, nothing at all. So we'll have to see if Natris or Mini comes back out to begin the second here. Neither one hung out in the tunnel at all the rest of the period. So we'll have to see how that affects both teams going forward. But as for the Enforcers goals, that piece from Tom Tracy and Ahmed Mahfouz, piece with his 8th goal of the season, and Joe Davini's just so happens to be his 21st. Joe Davini now with 37 points on the year. Nobody coming close to Kyle Powell and Derek Boudreau's 61 on the season, however. And now we're going to take yet another look at the out-of-town scoreboard here tonight. 9:45 remaining until we hit puck drop of period number 2. The Port Huron Prowlers a 4-2 lead over the Mentor Icebreakers out at Mid-Moraine Arena with 9:08 to go in the game. Port Huron with 4 goals before Mentor finally tallied one. Brandon Catrano, Dalton Young, Larry Vertanen, and Mike Morasso. So Morasso following up a 5-point night last night, getting back in the scoring column here with a goal and an assist tonight. Stephen Fowler and Jerry Pusko, the goals for the Mentor Icebreakers. The Battle Creek Rumblebees have fought back down in Columbus, Georgia. 3-3 goes that one. 5:20 gone in period number 3. The Rumblebees with 3 late goals in period number 2. Jarrett Piffer, Lester Brown, and Jacob Vole. The Jarrett Piffer and Lester Brown came a minute and 6 apart, and then just over a moment later, Lester Brown's goal, Jacob Vole lighted the lamp. Now, Luani Laracos, MJ Graham, and Jay Krupp, the goals for the Columbus River Dragon. And as for the Delaware Thunder and the Danbury Hat Tricks playing down there at Danbury Ice Arena tonight, and once again touching on it here, forgot to mention the physicality in the opening period of play. The physicality was aplenty, seriously. Lots of board battles, lots of checking. Obviously, if Mini took a stick to the stomach, there's a prime example for you there. Never expected somebody to throw up, but if it gets you just right, you never know what could happen. The Hat Tricks 2-0 over the Delaware Thunder. They've got 5:25 gone in period number 2. Vladislav Gavrik and Phil Bronner, the goals for the Danbury Hat Tricks in that one. And let's see, looks like the Carolina Thunderbirds and Danville Dashers are just about ready to drop the puck out at David S. Palmer Arena. Actually, they already have indeed started. They've got just over 2 minutes gone. A 0-0 tie. Jesse Gordachuk getting the start for the Danville Dashers tonight, it looks like. Waiting for our live page to load here. Yes, indeed, Jesse Gordachuk once again for the Carolina Thunderbirds tonight. Or for the Danville Dashers, my bad. And so Danville just going to try to find a netminder to get hot. Carolina knocking them off 8-1 last night to take home their 28th victory of the season. The Thunderbirds just an unstoppable force unless you're the Danbury Hat Tricks. Obviously, all of you people that follow the FPHL fully know that the Danbury Hat Tricks have defeated the Carolina Thunderbirds 6 times this season. All 6 of their meetings, the Danbury Hat Tricks have taken victory. 5 in regulation, 1 in overtime. So the Danbury Hat Tricks, if it just so happens to be the Danbury Hat Tricks and Carolina Thunderbirds in the Commissioner's Cup, which of course we want the Wolves in the Commissioner's Cup, but the Hat Tricks and the Thunderbirds would be an interesting meeting for sure. Obviously, the regular season and the playoffs are 2 different stories. It's a matter of the team that gets hot. You never know. The Enforcers or Wolves either one could get hot, and you never know what could happen going down the stretch. All things considered, there's a lot of hockey left to play. Tonight's game number 40 for the Watertown Wolves, while tonight marks game number 39 for the Elmira Enforcers. Now just 6:10 to go until we hit period number 2 here from the first arena. All the events, if you're watching on YouTube, being shown upcoming here at First Arena. Not an ad yet for the go-karts on ice. or so I've seen. But go-karts on ice, an interesting one coming up. Obviously, WWE, Robbie Nichols, Nellie Nichols committed to bringing a ton of events, keep this building packed with events all year round. Whether the Enforcers are whether at home or not, even the Enforcers at home tonight, obviously the rec rink being taken and used. The Enforcers, however, still able to get in their morning skate this morning. Enforcers skating here at First Arena between 10 and noon this morning, a longer morning skate. And the message was clear. They needed 3 points tonight. Even Coach Brent Clark said Watertown is a hard-working team. This is a potential playoff matchup for us, so we need to come out hungry. Honestly, I thought we'd see more of a push from the Elmira Enforcers in the opening period of action. Obviously not disappointed by the product of hockey we've seen so far, as the Wolves remain tied with the Enforcers 1-1, but just a little bit surprised due to our score at the moment, 1-1. The message was clear down in the locker room. Got to hang around the arena all afternoon. The Enforcers, they really needed that W tonight. 3 points were going to be important, considering the Wolves sit behind the Enforcers by just a single point in the standings. The Enforcers needed their best product of hockey tonight possible. And considering the Wolves begin period number 2 on the penalty kill once again, they can't give the Enforcers a break coming out of the intermission. The ice crew is still hard at work here, getting everything all set. Now John Clement, if you're watching on the YouTube feed, popping up, being shown. The great broadcaster of the Enforcers, he's the one telling me all the info I need to know. He was the one who hooked me up with the info about Gino Mini. A big round of applause for John Clement and all he does for the Elmira Enforcers. And a big round of applause as we head to another break here on Michler and YouTube.com. We'll be right back here and get you ready for puck drop of period number 2.
Watertown rules number 21, Ted Bourgeois, second half of drivers lessons, personalized workout programs that players of all ages and skill take their game to the next level. On and off-ice programs are available. On-ice programs are focused on improving skills such as shooting, skating, and stick handling, while off-ice programs are focused on improving athletic abilities such as balance, agility, and power. An initial one-on-one session will be had to assess players' abilities both on and off-ice, depending on desired areas of improvement. Coverage are tailored to the player's specific needs and will be modified accordingly. $45 for a 60-minute session or $200 a month is your cost. To book or more info, drop an email to derek.boudreau, DERIC.BOUDREAU@hotmail.com or call 613-884-1237. Thursday's Wolf Nation, come on out to see Wolves from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and compete with the Watertown Wolves in the text trivia contest. We're also enjoying some finely crafted brews and eating some delicious.
Once again, back here on the intermission report from First Arena. Was just taking a moment to listen to Enforcers broadcaster John Clement here. John once again alone in the booth this weekend. I'm his normal color commentator in the booth usually, but John giving me the opportunity to bring you all the action this weekend from the Watertown side of things. The Enforcers and Wolves both back in the tunnel as both teams make their way to the bench here. Coach Brent Clark hanging out behind the glass on the fan side of things, taking a chance to say hi to some of the fans over there between sections 104 and 105 as the Watertown crew, head coach and assistant coaches alike, make their way to the bench here. A minute and 30 seconds remaining until we kick off period number 2. We played to a 1-1 tie through 20 minutes here at First Arena, and the referees now take to the ice here. The equipment manager now heads to the bench for the Wolves. Everything's set in stone here. Everybody all ready for some hockey. The Enforcers come on back to the ice here. Joe Young heading to the far goal. The Enforcers gonna shoot down to the goal to my right here. The Wolves traveling down to my left. Once again, the press bot side on the far side from where you walk in here at First Arena. And looking around now, it's really filled in a lot since 7 o'clock. A lot of fans packing in the signs here. Got some Wolves fans sitting down just in front of my booth here, so hi Watertown fans down there. But hello to everybody here at First Arena. I see some gray over on the far side. I see some gray down off to my right. Wolves fans really travel well. Obviously not a super long trip coming down just from the north to play the Enforcers here at First Arena. 20 seconds now to go until 20 minutes go up on the board. Once again, Jamie Lucas still in the box for 45 more seconds. He's already resumed his position in the penalty box. The Enforcers and the Wolves on the ice here. Once again, a video feed looking a little bit better than it did last night, of course. Looking at our OBS broadcasting software here. Joe Young down in the full butterfly, as you can see. Young, once again, some clutch stops for the Elmira Enforcers in the first period. But he didn't see all that many, just 7 Watertown shots in the opening period of play. The Wolves averaging 11 shots a game in period number 2. So Young's got, actually that's 14 shots. I was looking at the Enforcers side, my bad once again. So a tough task ahead for Young as Mafuz wins the drawback and we begin period number 2. Young forcing it to Yarwood here. Yarwood circles around the net. We're back underway here from First Arena as Yarwood thrusted to Patterson, going to back up to Mafuz. Mafuz up to Dion. Dion cutting around. Dion going back to Yarwood. Yarwood with a slapper. He couldn't get it to go. And now the Enforcers get it tipped out of the zone. The Wolves clearing it down here. 17 seconds to go on the PK for Watertown. As Cameron Yarwood dumps it up across center ice. Mafuz sets back to Patterson. Patterson going to Mafuz. Mafuz cutting around to Dion. Dion through the circle, firing it on, and it's wide. Juritz now picking up just 1 second. No seconds. There it is. The Jamie Lucas penalty expires as he comes out of the box. Glenn Patterson now going over to Dion. Dion thrusting back to Patterson. Patterson forks it up and it can't go. Juritz banged it off the bar from a difficult angle, and the Wolves come back on a rush here. It's Jared Boudreau going to Lucas. Lucas going in and a shot blocked by Glenn Patterson. Patterson shipping it out. He crosses the blue line, crosses center ice, crossing the offensive into the offensive zone here. He thrusts a stick off him, going over to Mafuz. Mafuz can't get it to go here. 18:40 remaining in the second period of action. Quick play going on already as Marker dumps it down behind Elmira's net here. Reset up by JT Walters, giving it to Hussey. Hussey drops back to Walters. Walters going over to Tom Tracy. Tracy dropping back on the defensive side here in period 2 as the Enforcers clear. Pominville comes out and Zajac has it. Zajac fought into the boards as now Tracy tipped it up. The Wolves regain possession once again. Little now has it. A whistle sounds. 18-12 to go in period number 2 now. The best seat in the house now being shown up on our software here on YouTube. Once again, if you're listening on Mitchler, you can find a video feed of tonight's contest on YouTube. Once again, a huge thank you to ThunderForce Media for sponsoring our broadcast here in Elmira this weekend. As the Enforcers now have it back, it's JT Walters getting over to Dale Dion here. Sorry about that, just taking the time to fix a little issue on our Mitchler side of things. As Mark Essery now throws it down to Joe Young, and it's an icing call here. Icing going to go on the Watertown Wolves. Essery without a touch. So the face-off going to come back off to the right or left of Jeremy Pominville, whichever the Enforcers choose, and it looks like they pardon to the right. So the Enforcers going to battle the Wolves in the face-off circle once again. Mafuz to take the draw. Mafuz winning over to Steven. Steven backhands off the boards, and Matthews throws it around behind the net. Mafuz tipping it up. Zajac had it now. Zajac lost the puck. The Enforcers retreating back to grab this one. Peace getting it over to Yarwood here. Yarwood behind the circle, going up to Zach Peace. Peace across center ice, cuts back through the blue line, going around through the circle. Peace can't getting it to go. Badzio broke his stick now. Stevens throwing it up, and Stevens out of play here. 2:40 now gone in period number 2. The Enforcers and Wolves yet to record a shot on net here in period number 2. 17-7 our shots after 1 period of action. Yet to see a goal here as well in period number 2. Last night, 2 goals for the Enforcers in period 2 and 1 for the Watertown Wolves. Now it's back. Zach Peace has it. Peace throwing it on, and Pominville makes the stop. Just a few seconds ticking off on that one. I do like the music sequence, however, going on here in First Arena. A real toe tapper and finger snapper being played here. The goal song of the Chicago Blackhawks, Chelsea Dagger, erupting throughout the arena now. Blackhawks back in action, taking on the Calgary Flames tonight. I only recognize that tune, being as the Blackhawks are my favorite NHL franchise. As Bonzio cuts through the blue line, going over to Bullard. Bullard throwing it in, it's off the glove of Joe Young. And both teams are at least not having the luck of the Blackhawks right now. The Blackhawks dropping 4 in a row, 0-2 over their last 4. The Wolves now tip it at the blue line. Bullard, Peace tipped him, and Peace got a whack at the knees. Peace goes back to the bench here. And the Enforcers try to reset up a play here. It's Harrison going over to Mafouz. Mafouz throwing it up and through the air. Harrison tipping it on, and Pominville blocked that one away. Bullard now with it. Harrison pulling it out. Mafouz couldn't get there to hold it in time. Stevens has to retreat and hold on to this one. Mafouz going to Stevens. Stevens cuts around, and Pominville with the glove away. Patterson now with a fire, and Patterson, the slapper, couldn't go. Stevens over to Harrison. Harrison deets. Pominville going full butterfly, made that stop. It popped out, however. Bullard now with the puck, going back to the circle through the blue line. Bullard cuts back across center ice, firing it down right into the glove of Joe Young. Young holding on to make the stop here. 15:57 remaining in period number 2. The Enforcers and Wolves playing to a 1-1 tie here from First Arena in the opening 24:03 of this one. And a huge congratulations to anybody from Edmiston listening, especially to our basketball team. The Edmiston boys defeating Richfield Springs 60-41. News just breaking, got a touch of that. So the Edmiston boys, 2 straight Tri-Valley championships, defeating the Richfield Springs Indians. So congrats to my school and all of my friends, Josh Martin, Greg DeVries, and all the rest of the guys on the basketball team for their win tonight. And the Wolves ice the puck. 15:31 to go in period number 2. The Columbus River Dragons have just jumped in front of the Battle Creek Rumblebees 4-3. The Danbury Hat Tricks remain in control of the Delaware Thunder 2-0. And the Danville Dashers off to a good start out at David S. Palmer Arena. 0-0 tie as the Enforcers won the draw and thrusted it on Pominville here. Pominville blocked away, and Patterson now trying to get to Essery. Essery losing the puck here. Desjardins now bangs it off the boards. It's sent up here by the Wolves. Ryan Marker going to Desjardins. Desjardins cutting through center, banging off the near board. Rolls all the way to the far side. Patterson now back at the boards. Wolves lose this one out. Pominville goes all the way into the corner to set this one up. Circling around the net. Now Essery picking up in the far corner. Essery holding on. Lucas right between his legs here. Natris back on the ice here for the Elmira Enforcers. Yet to see Gino Mini, however, as the Wolves bang it off the glass. Enforcers trying to get in front of the net. Lucas got his tick on it. Dion tipped it off in front of the board. The big battle between Dion and Lucas. Dion winning this one out. The Wolves pull it out, and it's man back behind the net. Walters going up to Essery here. Essery, Zajac retreating after this one. Zajac circling around the Watertown net. Laying back for Vladimir Port here. Port going up to Corey Sherman. Sherman across the line, firing it on into the glove of Joe Young. No second chances for the Watertown Wolves this time around. And Enforcers already with 2 shots here in period number 2. A weaker showing on the shot category for the Watertown Wolves already is 5:22 gone. Yet to record a shot here in period number 2. Carolina Thunderbirds lighting it up on shots against the Danville Dashers, however. Jesse Gordichuk out there. Wonder when he'll crank. The Thunderbirds already with 14 shots to the opening 8 minutes of that one. as Joe Young holds on and makes a save. 14:06 remaining in period number 2 now. And you now see up on the board here playoff packages and season tickets on sale for the Elmira Enforcers here. As Joe Young face off to his right. Bullard tipped it, but Dion pulls it back. Dion behind the net of Joe Young here. Dion coming around. Dion going up. Can't find Stevens on the long reach. Mafuz, however, beats out the foot race. Mafuz coming back around. Peace couldn't get it. Rolled off his stick. Walters picking up just beyond center ice. Once again, thank you for tuning in here tonight. Wolves and Enforcers from First Arena, a 1-1 tie. Hope you enjoyed Valentine's Day last night and are enjoying the middle of hockey weekend across America here. A lot of good games coming up. Got the Stadium Series, of course, as we mentioned all too many times this weekend, coming up in just, well, actually, that one's already started. It's 8:24 already. Boy, this time flies. And then, of course, a huge set of games on NBC and NBC Sports Network tomorrow, so don't miss any of that action, but don't miss your Enforcers and Wolves tomorrow as well, as Pominville hit that one off his blocker into the corner. Joe Davini picking it up and going over to Bullard. Bullard has Davini and Baggio, 3-on-2 rush. He goes back to Baggio, and it's sit down, 2 blocked shots by Kyler Matthews here, and it was now fired in by Justin Coachman. I've honestly been impressed with the play of Kyler Matthews here. It's his first pro game. Kyler Matthews coming out with at least a half a dozen blocked shots or so I've counted here so far in this one. Kyler Matthews showing why he belongs on this Enforcers blue line. Limp back to the bench. Matthews takes his seat between Glenn Patterson and JT Walters. As the Enforcers win yet another drawback. Tracy lightly tips it off the boards. Patterson now going up to Michaelis. Michaelis over to Jurich. Jurich across the blue line. Jurich coming around going to Michaelis, and Michaelis couldn't get it to go. Harrison in the corner battles back to Michaelis here. Delayed penalty. Young heading to the bench. Michaelis going to Tracy and right into the chest of Jeremy Pominville here. Joe Young not spending much time at all on the bench. The Watertown Wolves going to head right back to the penalty kill here. A close shots to the ball. An interference call off behind the Watertown net there was that play, getting a piece of Glenn Patterson that displeased the referees. So the Watertown Wolves right back to the penalty kill here. Already a perfect 3-4-3 in this one, but you don't want to give the Enforcers, third ranked in the league power play, more opportunities than you need to score. Off to the right of Pominville goes the face-off now, and the Wolves win it and tip it all the way down. Young comes out and settles it up here. Yarwood has a trailer, and Lucas, and Yarwood circles around. Yarwood coming around, going over to Ahmed Mafuz here. Mafuz cuts back through the blue line, goes over to Jurich now. Jurich coming around, going back around. Mafuz can't get it to go on the power play here. Back to Patterson once again. Patterson to Dion. Dion to Yarwood. Yarwood back to Dion. Dion behind the circle, cuts back around. Dion manning the point, goes over to Jurich. Jurich with the mouth guard hanging out wide, comes back around, shot high and wide of the net. As Yarwood now goes back and the Wolves get a touch. Justin Coachman the clearer here. Joe Young has to come out and resettle. 45 seconds already gone in the Cole Sanstabo penalty here. Cole Sanstabo just 6 penalty minutes in his first 25 games in the league here, so a rarity to see him take a trip to the box now. 1:02 to go on the Enforcers' main advantage as the Enforcers once again can't score on an opportunity. Tyler Jurich picking up the puck. Going back to Dion once again. Dion pitching it over to Yarwood. Yarwood nailing it wide to Dion. Dion forced it to Yarwood. Yarwood tipped in by the Wolves once again. That was Natris. Natris tipped that one and it went quite a ways even. The Enforcers tip it and it's picked up just beyond center by Michaelis now. 33 seconds to go on the Enforcer power play. Cameron Yarwood up to Ahmed Mafuz. 1-1 our score. It's at 11 minutes remaining in period 2 as Mafuz goes up to Yarwood now. Yarwood behind the net. Fires it around the boards. Jurich picks it up. Tyler Jurich firing it on wide. Enforcers tip it in. Cameron Yarwood. Once again, the obnoxious goal horn, and the celebration going on here at First Arena. Cameron Yarwood, shot fired wide of the net, hit off the boards. Cameron Yarwood, you can see it on the replay, picked it up, fired it behind a helpless Jeremy Pominville there. Pominville had a screen set in front of him. No chance on that. So just like that, the Enforcers have taken a 2-1 lead. Guess I can't jinx the Wolves penalty kill anymore, as the Enforcers' first power play goal in 3 games. The Enforcers' power play keeps on rolling, second in the East Division. Pominville, however, is down on the ice. Camera has it panned over down there. Pominville's got his mask and his glove off. The Wolves players basically screening him from the crowd on this side. Pominville has his leg out. He's fixing his blocker. Took his blocker fully off now. Pominville black and white blockers. Absolute huge blockers, to be certain. Pominville, a tall guy, 6'5". He gets an assistant from Kyle Powell and Derek Boudreau here, helping him put his blockers back on. And the fans go nuts about the goal here once again after the lawn celebration. Pominville once again getting ready in the crease. The Enforcers, as we said also many times tonight, second in the Eastern Division, sitting behind the Danbury Hat-Tricks. Hat-Tricks at 25-9, 2-2. Good for 81 points on the season, playing good hockey as of late, taking 6 straight. Enforcers 2013, 2-3, and Watertown 2015, 2-2 for third place. Discussion amongst Mafuz and the referee here, just off camera. Now you can just barely see it there. They go back talking to the off-ice officials here down in the penalty box, and now they finally whistle. We're back ready to go. Stevens and Boudreau at center ice. Stevens and Boudreau trying to battle this one out. Finally, Lucas tips it out, and it's back onto the stick of Walters. Walters up to Peace. Peace through the blue line. Still holding on. Going back to Walters. Walters forking it on net, and Pominville making a stop through the screen. Once again, Jeremy Pominville absolutely clutch for the Watertown Wolves. 10:28 to go in period number 2. A 1-goal lead for the Elmira Enforcers. A Cameron Yarwood goal just a couple moments ago. Yarwood 7th of the season, his 5th on home ice this season. An absolute huge check into the boards. Lucas and Peace as Walters sets up between the circles now. Walters circling around on the boards. Backhand pass to Dale Dion. Dion back behind the net of Joe Young. Dion squares up with the puck once again. He's got Walters off to his right, and Kyle Stevens circles around on his left to give him a hand. Now he goes over to JT Walters. Walters to the blue line, across center ice. The big Elmira Enforcers logo going across the blue line, banging it off the board, circling all the way around. Kyle Stevens says that Peace can't get it to go. Once again, narrowly wide of the net. The Wolves return it on a rush. It's Ryan Marker. Marker across the blue line, going to Boudreau. Boudreau right into the glove of Joe Young. Joe Young saying no. 9:40 to go on period number 2. And that horn sounds on media timeout. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back here on Mitzler and YouTubes.com.
Power Play Sports and Watertown Wolves number 21, Derek Boudreau, extended off a private lesson and personalized workout programs that players of all ages and skill take their game to the next level. On and off-ice programs are available. On-ice programs are focused on improving skills such as shooting, skating, and stick handling, while off-ice programs are focused on improving athletic abilities such as balance, agility, and power. An initial one-on-one session will be had to assess players' abilities both on and off-ice, depending on desired areas of improvement. Programs are tailored to the player's specific needs and will be modified accordingly. $45 for a 60-minute session or $200 a month is the cost. To book or more info, drop an email to derek.boudreau, TERIC.BOUDREAU@hotmail.com. Or call 613-412.
Back on here with you from First Arena once again. Hall of Fame's honoring the Zeph Law Firm veteran of the game here at First Arena. Whole family out here. Gotta make it a family outing when you come out to a Federal Prospects Hockey League game. Gotta make it a family outing tomorrow afternoon. Watertown Wolves back at home. Healthcare Appreciation Night from Watertown Municipal Arena. $10 tickets for healthcare workers with proof of healthcare employment. And then, of course, the regular price tickets for everybody else. We're going to be honoring all the healthcare workers, and you won't want to miss tomorrow afternoon's special 4 p.m. puck drop against the Elmira Enforcers. But the fun doesn't stop just there. Delaware in town next weekend for a doubleheader, Friday and Saturday. Carolina, the rematch with the Thunderbirds the following weekend for Watertown. And then, of course, come the Port Huron Prowlers to town. And that takes us through the first weekend of March. The season coming closer and closer down to the wire as we speak. The Wolves back with the draw once again. Thrown into the boards goes Natris. The Wolves try to get it behind the net. It was Matthews fighting for it and Hussey pulling it out. Hussey going on a rush here. He's all alone, but he now has Esri on his left side. Esri has Desjardins on him here. Desjardins, a very physical body, going back to Matthews, who fired, and Matthews can't get it to go. Esri back to Matthews, over to Hussey once again. Hussey can't go, and it's up and off the glass. Bodzio and Babenko in the corner. Babenko going to Esri. Esri won't go. Desjardins now back. Bodzio fighting with Esri in the corner. Esri going over to Yarwood. Yarwood, it got tipped by Bodzio. 47 and 57 going at it tonight. Bodzio always with Yarwood every step of the way. Bullard now off behind the net. Wolves pull it out. Hussey's trying to circle around, find an open pass here. Hussey can't find anyone. Gets it to Esri. Esri blocked by Desjardins. 8:39 to go in period number 2. The Enforcers a 2-1 lead over the Watertown Wolves as Hussey going over to Esri once again. Esri high and wide into the netting, out of play, and the whistle sounds once again. A huge thank you once again to the crew here in Elmira for helping us with our video feed. Had big assistance getting the video feed set up. Hopefully a little bit better quality than last night, I presume, based upon what I've been hearing from friends and family listening around the country tonight. So gotta take that where you can get it, I guess. Patterson off the stick blade of Ryan Marker. Patterson throwing it off the boards once again. Patterson lost his stick. He had his stick taken and thrown away. Patterson fighting with his feet in the corner. Patterson, Coachman pulling it out. Now Patterson circling. He's going to get to the bench as fast as possible for a new stick here. Michaelis got pushed to the floor, the ice, Delayed penalty, Young going off to the bench here. Watertown getting physical. The Wolves slip it down and behind the net now. The Enforcer's going to get 6 attackers on Joe Young sitting on the bench uncomfortably, it looks like, but he's there. He has his front to the ice now. He's sitting back down on the boards as the Enforcer, 6 men on the ice. Sits on 5 here, and they got a power play coming up unless they score here. Michael is going to Mafuz. Mafuz through the circle, cutting around. Mafuz goes back behind the net. Mafuz from an odd angle. The Wolves touch. 7:34 to go in period number 2. And once again, it's going to be Cole Sonstable heading off here. Cole Sonstable, once again, as we said, 6 penalty minutes through his first 25 games in the league. And now Cole Sonstable already has 4 here. 7 and a lot of hockey left to play. 7:34 to go in period 2. A big moment here for the Enforcers if their third-ranked power play can come up here once again. It's Boudreau and Mafuz, and Boudreau wins the draw back to Desjardins. Desjardins circles it around, but Yarwood tips it. Fired off the glass, and Lucas tips it down ice once again. Off to the left behind Joe Young here. Cameron Yarwood tips it onto the stick of Tyler Jurich now. Jurich coming back around. Jurich going over to Cameron Yarwood. Yarwood across center ice. Cuts through the circle on the offensive end. Yarwood back behind the net once again. Yarwood. And he's got no help there. The Wolves tip it back down ice once again. Jamie Lucas getting it. Lucas hit off the brink. That was hit off the near pole. Joe Young didn't even touch that one. 1:15 to go. Jamie Lucas almost with a short-handed opportunity for the Elmira Enforcers. The Enforcers 7 short-handed goals this season to Watertown's 9. Enforcers with the second least amount of short-handed goals in the entire league. Enforcers pressuring here behind the net. Mafuz coming around. Jurich now, and Jurich off the shoulder. Tyler Jurich yet to get on the score sheet this weekend. And as for Ahmed Mafuz, it's a matter of whether he's gotten an assist here so far in this one. Ahmed Mafuz once again, as we said, after the 2 shutouts to the Carolina Thunderbirds opening weekend, 2-0 both nights. Mafuz had a point in every single game he had played in, and another prime opportunity there until it was forced out by the Wolves down ice once again. Young comes all the way out to play this one, getting it to Mafuz. Young about falling off his feet. Yarwood and Boudreau on the boards. Boudreau has Mafuz with him, and Boudreau cutting around. Boudreau got hooked, no call. Yarwood getting back to Mafuz, up to Jurich once again. Jurich through the circle over to Mafuz. Mafuz trying to set up Jurich and no opportunity. 4 seconds to go on the penalty. Sanstebo ready to come out. 2 seconds, 1 second, and there we go. Sanstebo released the hounds. Cole Sanstebo is back. A battle in the corner, and the Enforcers winning out the neon green and black. But the Wolves somehow recover this one. Boudreau and Sanstebo. Back to Lucas. Lucas over to Boudreau, and Boudreau whiffed on the shot. No luck, and the fans go wild here at First Arena. The Wolves can't get any breaks to go their way here in the second period. Harrison cutting around. There's a good thing, however. Sanstebo managing to pull this one. Badzio going up to Walters now. Walters to Davini. Back to Badzio. Badzio cutting around. Wolves still can't find it. There goes Bullard. Bullard circling around. He had it. Davini. Davini won't go. Over to the corner now. Set up once again by Powell. Desjardins has to go back a bit. Desjardins trying to force it, and Walters managing it out. Kyle Stevens on it now. Desjardins taken to the ice. 4:40 to go. Referee's hand in the air, so we'll see if we see a penalty now. Neither goalie heading off. Bullard firing it on, and it's up into the netting here. 4:34 remaining in our second period of action from First Arena. And man, I've been on my feet all night. I'm clearing off my handy dandy stool here, and I'm going to sit on my bar stool, you could call it here. Perfect view set up on the blue line closest to the goal where Jeremy Pominville plays twice. You got to like the setup here at First Arena, other than, of course, the bathrooms not being here in the press box area. Only a short walk, maybe 300, 400 feet, but still got to go into the general public area, over into the bar area off to the left behind the net. Penalty is going to go here. 4:20 remaining in period number 2. We'll see who they send off now. Looks like JT Walters heading off for the Elmira Enforcers. Pops up on our stat page here. It's going to be a slashing penalty. So JT Walters heading off, much to the displeasure of the Elmira bench here. And the Watertown Wolves looking to improve their 21.7% power play, which has yet to converge on the weekend here at First Arena. Or rather, they changed that penalty to cross-checking, or at least as Enforcers owner Robbie Nichols over the PA system, filling in for usual PA announcer Stephen Ovens this weekend, says cross-checking. Ryan Marker now getting to Kyle Powell. Powell going over to Zajac. Zajac back to Powell. Powell, Stevens converges and he forces over to Marker. Marker around in front of the blue line going to Powell. Powell back to Boudreau. Boudreau fired in. Joe Young making a save, laying out, and Joe Young finally forced it in like he was grabbing a piece of pie. Joe Young, I know what that's, I do that when I'm grabbing a piece of pie. I thump down on the table and I don't go anywhere until I get that great piece of cherry pie, especially with whipped cream, maybe even apple. I'm a big apple guy around the Thanksgiving holiday. Kyle Powell now back in front of the blue line, going over to Ryan Marker. Marker has Dion on him here. He goes back to Boudreau. Boudreau to Marker. Marker through the circle, going over, kicked away by Mafuz. The Wolves force it in. Young off the blocker. Zajac now around, going back at the point here to Powell. Powell fires on, doesn't have enough steam on it. His Marker tips it onto the stick of Boudreau once again. Marker in a fight on the boards, getting it out to Powell. Powell to Boudreau. Boudreau with a flip between the legs to Marker. Marker over to Powell. Powell fires it on. Sticked in front of the net by his own teammate Lucas, and Patterson manages to force it down ice. A minute to go in the JT Walters penalty. the Watertown Wolves just 53 seconds to go on the power play here. Wolves not too many prime opportunities. 8 shots they've racked up now here in period number 2. Got off to a slow start, but it's been crazy fast these last few moments. Since we come back from the media timeout especially, as Bazile got to Bullard, who forced over to Powell. Powell going back to the point to Bullard. Bullard manning it, and it's wide of Joe Young. Zanzibar back at the point to Sherman. Sherman to Bullard. Bullard whiffs on the shot. Mahfouz pulls it out. Mahfouz takes down Bullard. Mahfouz on his own. In on a break. Mahfouz Dietz. And Pominville with the blocker stop. Pominville kicking that one away. How do you like that one? 12 seconds to go on the JT Walters penalty. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. The Wolves pulling off the board, trying to set up one more rush here. They're not going to have time. The enforcers pulling out, taken to the ice. Goes Sanstable here. And the Watertown Wolves have it now. JT Walters back on the ice now, and he heads to the bench. Andrew Harrison heads out for the Elmira Enforcers, I should say. Here's Kyle Stevens back across the blue line, trying to go to Andrew Harrison. Couldn't get to him, however. The Enforcers in a battle here. 1:57 to go in the period. Wolves slip it up and through the air. High pass hit the bottom of the scoreboard as it was tipped up by Kyler Matthews once again. Icing called on the Elmira Enforcers here. 1:46 remaining in the period. The Enforcers with a 10-shot advantage over the Watertown Wolves. Now 25-15 the board reads here. 1:46 to go in our second period, and then we'll be through 40 minutes, and we'll be more than halfway through the weekend. Actually, our 10-minute mark of this period would be our halfway mark through the action. So, well, still a lot of hockey to go. You can't put any doubt that both teams are going to battle hard the rest of the weekend. Still a lot of time left in this one, and then, of course, another 60 to play up in Watertown tomorrow. Over into the corner, Babenko centering back to Stevens. Stevens, Pominville once again sticking it off his shoulder. Jeremy Pominville coming up clutch once again for the Watertown Wolves. Just got beat on 2 odd breaks, giving the Enforcers a 2-1 lead here. Zach Peace and Cameron Yarwood. Yarwood taking the goal, the lone one of the second period here, off the boards and forcing it top shelf on Jeremy Pominville off to the right of the net. Over to the corner, the whistle goes up. We're going to have a penalty. Looks like we're going to have multiple penalties. Mahfouz grabbing the jersey of Kyle Powell. Mahfouz a tough guy. Exactly 1 minute to go in period number 2. All the guys get together over in the corner except for Ryan Marker and Dale Dion.
Ryan Marker, hope you enjoyed our interview with him at first intermission. It was fun to talk to Ryan Marker, get his thoughts on trades around the FPHL, the state of things in the Delaware Thunder organization, especially considering he's just fresh off a long time with the Delaware Thunder, still in his rookie season here in the FPHL, but spent 31 games there before coming over and shooting on a Watertown Wolves uniform last weekend in Carolina. Tonight, of course, his 4th game in the gray and black. Kyle Stevens heading off for 2 minutes on a cross-checking penalty. So with 1 minute to play in the period, the Wolves get 2 minutes of the man advantage. And the faceoff's going to come off to the left of Joe Young here. Everything's all set to go now. And the Enforcers won the draw match, so they force it down ice. Pominville comes out of his crease to play this one. Pominville gets it onto the stick of Tyler Bullard here. 50 seconds to go in the second period of action. Bullard cutting around, going to Desjardins. Desjardins across center, going all the way around. Is now Bazile pitched it up. Bazile with Walters in the corner. Walters going down through the legs of Tyler Bullard. Pominville coming all the way almost to the blue line. Getting away. Jeremy Pominville's empty here. Wow, the net was wide open for a moment there. The Enforcers couldn't do anything. Joe Davini, Jeremy Pominville getting a little reckless here late in period number 2. Davini cutting around. Sansibo can't hold on. Bazile picking up 15 seconds now to go. 2-1 Enforcers lead. Bazile cuts through the circle. Young with a blocker save. Put down ice by the Enforcers here. Pominville comes out to play it into the circle. Bullard holds on. 2 seconds, 1 second. And the horn sounds. He got a little taste of Mahfouz
at the end of period number 2. Loud horn once again at the end of a period. It's actually 1 minute to go on the Watertown Wolves power play when we begin period number 3 here at First Arena. The lone goal of period number 2, however, of course, coming from Cameron Yarwood. 9:15 into the period. Cameron Yarwood taking it off the boards, bearing it top shelf over the right shoulder of Jeremy Pominville to give the Enforcers the advantage in this one, 2-1. Glenn Patterson heading to have a meeting at the officials' box here, wanting to get some clarification on some things now. I think he's going over plus minus. Glenn Patterson, he is being awaited by Kyle Stevens now. The net's already dislodged. Going to get a quicker trip from the Zambonis here in period number 2. It was quite the show we had early in the stages of the intermission between periods 1 and 2. Go-karts on ice occurring. It's pretty hilarious sight to go-karts. Loud noise erupting throughout First Arena. Could tell it bothered some of the fans here. One fan I could even see down in front of me stuck earplugs in for the 1 minute that the go-karts drove around the ice, trying to give fans a preview of what's to come. Go-karts expected to have a 1.5 hour showing. Don't know how they're planning to get an hour and a half showing out of go-karts on the ice here at First Arena when go-karts on ice come here on Saturday, March 7th. That's at 7 p.m. You can get your tickets for that on tickets.com, and you can get your tickets for tomorrow's Watertown Wolves home game by visiting Kinney's Drugstore or visiting Watertown Municipal Arena, dropping by the box office and getting your tickets. The classic chuck-a-puck going on the ice here at First Arena at the moment, and we're queuing our things up to give our interview with Tyler Bullard prior to game time earlier. Let you hear from him. 17:03 to go until we kick off period number 2. The Wolves begin period number 3 on a power play, and we're going to step aside for an interview with Tyler Bullard, and we'll be back here in just a few minutes on the Mitzler and YouTube.com Intermission Report.
Intermission Report. Watertown Wolves forward Tyler Bullard. Tyler coming off a big 3-1 win over the Elmira Enforcers last night. You guys challenged, you were physical, you did all the right things. What exactly did you see from the team that you liked last night?
We played very good structural defense. No one was really out of position. We just played really simple hockey, and we knew that's what we needed to do to get a win.
Thinking back to last weekend, you guys still had both games to the Carolina Thunderbirds last weekend. Everybody that I've talked to this weekend said it was tough for you guys with a short lineup. How does having pieces back this weekend help you guys out?
Yeah, it's a huge difference maker. I mean, we can go 3 lines where everyone can play, so I mean, getting injured bodies back and, bodies coming in, just filling the bench definitely helps.
And last night was your 6th game in the FPHL. You were coming off a season at Sweet Canton last year. How exactly is the pace of play different between Sweet Canton and here?
I'd say it's a little bit more physical, but it's more controlled. There's a lot of skilled guys here that can make plays, so I wouldn't say there's too much of a difference, but there's a little bit of a difference.
And Tyler, last night, as I just said, you made your 6th game here in the FPHL. You're a point-of-game player so far in the FPHL. How does that kind of help you going forward?
Obviously extreme confidence, and obviously the end goal is to keep moving forward and moving up in the ranks. But while I'm here, I'd love to keep contributing and helping this team win.
Thinking back to last night one more time, you guys turned in a clutch performance from Jeremy Pominville. How does having a goaltender like Jeremy Pominville behind you guys help you guys out up front?
He's huge. He gives us a lot of confidence. We don't have to worry about making mistakes because he's back there. He's our wall. He bailed me out by giving him a cruise penalty shot last night. So, he's a real good player, and he gives us a lot of confidence.
And Ryan Marker also turned in a strong performance last night along with Cole Sanstable. How did those guys kind of help gel into the puzzle going forward?
I mean, we've got a bunch of pieces here. Everyone knows their role. Everyone can go out there and play their role, and everyone chips in every way possible. So it's a good mix.
And Elmira obviously has a lot of offensive pieces to threaten. So how are you guys going to look out to turn out another strong night shutting down their offense?
To be honest, we make it more about us. We make it about what we can do for our game as opposed to counteracting what they do. So if we play our game and we play with speed, there's not much a lot of teams can do, and we're confident in that. So.
And Tyler, how exactly do you feel your game contributes into this Watertown overall game?
I would say being another center helps. Just being structurally sound in the defensive zone. I haven't been very good with that yet, but I'm kind of learning into it. And obviously just on the front end. So.
And well, after tonight, you guys head home. You play Elmira again tomorrow. What is a 3-3 weekend? How do you guys get rested up through the week to play 3 games in 3 days?
Just make sure you're staying hydrated, drinking a lot of water, a lot of Gatorade. And just make sure you're stretching at the hotel. Just staying ready the whole time. You can't really let your guard down at all.
And now just a couple more questions for you. You're new to this roster, so many Watertown fans don't know you. What's your favorite place to visit around Watertown?
Honestly, I haven't got the chance to do that yet because I'm still finishing up school at SUNY Canyon, so I've been doing a lot of traveling back and forth. So I haven't gotten the chance to do that, but I've heard a lot of good things about Tully's.
And how does traveling back and forth on weekends kind of affect you overall?
It's busy work, but it's obviously something that I signed up for and something that I really do enjoy.
And how have you enjoyed the Wolves fan support so far?
Oh, they're awesome. I mean, they come out and show full support every single night, and that's something that I could kind of feel before I had even signed. I kind of done my research and looked into it, and it's been nothing short of spectacular so far, so it's been good.
Thanks, Tyler. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Power Play Sports and Watertown Wolves number 21, Derek Woodrow, are excited to offer private lessons and personalized workout programs to help players of all ages and skill take their game to the next level. On and off-ice programs are available. On-ice programs will focus on improving skills such as shooting, skating, and stick handling, while off-ice programs will focus on improving athletic abilities such as balance, agility, and power. An additional one-on-one session will be had to assess players' abilities both on and off ice, depending on desired area of improvement. Programs are tailored to the player's specific needs and will be modified accordingly. $45 for a 60-minute session or $200 a month is the cost. To book or more info, drop an email to Derek.Woodrow, DERIC.BOUDREAU@hotmail.com or call 613-884-1237.
Back here live with you now from the First Arena on the Intermission Report. Just getting back over here from the Elmira Enforcers broadcast booth down on the other side of the press box. Got to jump on with the Enforcers broadcaster John Clement for a moment, asking my thoughts on the state of things for the opening 40 minutes. It's great to have a friend like John, a fellow broadcaster, as passionate about the game as I am. Everybody around this league absolutely passionate about the game of hockey, as you can see from the out-of-town scoreboard tonight. The Port Huron Prowlers and the Mentor Icebreakers. Mentor can't find the tying goal late. Obviously, Port Huron jumping out to a 4-0 lead. The Mentor Icebreakers battling back 2 goals in the third period, and they just couldn't find the equalizer late. That's what happens. 4 goals, a big lead in hockey, but you never know what can happen if a team gets an opportunity to come and crawling back on you. Now let's take wraps up our out-of-town scoreboard watch for the evening. Tomorrow, once again, the Danville Dashers taking on the Port Huron Prowlers at 3:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, the Elmira Enforcers and Watertown Wolves getting together at Watertown Municipal Arena on Healthcare Appreciation Night. Puck dropped at 4 p.m. And fans, please share it with your friends. It has been announced on the local Watertown radio station that puck drop was at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night, but that is not the case. A special 4 p.m. puck drop tomorrow afternoon. The Elmira Enforcers and the Watertown Wolves, interstate rivals, interdivisional rivals, squaring off for the third game of a 3-3, a home and home series, but it's at 2 games going on here at First Arena. The Enforcers taking a 3-1 defeat at the hands of Watertown last night, and of course, through 40 minutes of action, the Enforcers rebounding tonight with a strong performance, a 2-1 lead over the Watertown Wolves so far through 40 minutes of action. The Watertown Wolves, of course, going to be in period number 3 with a minute of power play time. The Zamboni cam now being shown if you were watching on our YouTube feed on the ThunderForce media channel once again. And now you can see up there the schedule of upcoming Enforcers home games. And it looks like we're having a little audio issue here on Mixler.com. We're going to give you the commercials to the best of our ability, and we're going to try to sort things out. And we'll be right back here in just a moment or two on Mixler and YouTube.com. Now we're back on here with you from the first ring once again, still trying to get our audio levels adjusted here, as we were told by our great friend down in Ardmore, Pennsylvania, Scoop Cooper, about the little problem with our audio. I want to give Scoop a grand old shout out once again tonight, listening for the second straight night. Watertown Wolves and Elmira Enforcers here this weekend at the First Arena. Scoop works a lot. He has worked in pro hockey since the 1960s, worked with the Philadelphia Flyers and the Hershey Bears, and it's nice to have a mentor like Scoop that supports me as much as he does. So a big hello to Scoop, and a big hello to all the rest of you listening up in Watertown. 5:18 to go until we kick off period number 2, and again, can't sum it up better. The Watertown Wolves. Watertown is a hard-working team. This is a potential playoff matchup for these two teams. Frank Clark said the Enforcers needed to come out hungry. They've come out hungry tonight. Both teams have come out with a burning fire in this one, of course. The Watertown was kind of drying up a bit in that second period, seeing that the Cameron Yarwood goal kind of took a little bit out of the Watertown Wolves squad. But Jeremy Palmville, he remains that clutch netminder on the back end for the Watertown Wolves. Just what they need going into the trade deadline. Watertown needs probably to go out at the trade deadline and get another solid number 1 netminder. Maybe the Delaware Thunder would put Aaron Taylor on the brink. You know Danville and Port Huron won't make any of their netminders available, considering both are still battling for seeding out in the Western Division. But maybe you can look to Battle Creek. Battle Creek, they don't have bad netliners. So despite the numbers, you look at this, their goal differential might be negative 172. They've allowed 243 goals on the season, but they've only scored 71 goals. So what more can you ask for? Maybe if you get out of a bad scenario and you've got a chance to thrive, really, that's what's happening with Joe Young here. Joe Young getting out of Union College, only playing eight games. I double-checked on that earlier today in 4 years, and now Joe Young having the opportunity to thrive this season in the backup role with the Elmira Enforcers, and he's coming up absolutely clutch this season. Still trying to fix our audio here from First Arena as the Enforcers appear back in the tunnel. 3:25 remaining until we kick off period number 3. Our audio a little bit distorted, and if anybody has any suggestions, maybe we've got the special tech department of Watertown listening. Anybody can give me a text message on my Mixler chat page right now, or drop me an instant message on Facebook. Colby Smith, a picture of me broadcasting soccer with a yellow toe to my left. If you want to drop me a message for the weekend. Showing up on Mixler, J.M. Paulo listening now. So, J.M. Paulo, I'd like to give you a big shout out as well for sticking around here with us tonight from the First Arena. The Enforcers a 2-1 lead over the Watertown Wolves here through 40 minutes of this one, and we've still got 20 minutes to play in this one, and it's going to take a full team effort through the final 20 to give both teams the chance they need. Joe Young now comes out of the locker room, and he's ready to lead the charge on. We're going to take our final break of the intermission, and we'll be right back here on Mixler and YouTube.com. Now here with you from the First Arena, our final break of period number 2, intermission report in the books. The Elmira Enforcers back on the ice here at First Arena. The Watertown Wolves staff returning yet a little bit late. They're having a battle with the Enforcers players taking to the ice here. All the Enforcers players making the jog out now. Head coach Paul McLean just about getting run over by Mark Essery here. And now the assistant coach is waiting. Each one having to wait. The equipment manager still yet to go. Yarwood with the fist bumps. The equipment manager just about got ran over by Andrew Harrison here. Still more guys making the trek out for the Elmira Enforcers, and the Watertown Wolves return to the ice now here at First Arena. 35 seconds to go until we kick off the final 20 here. The Enforcers a 1-goal lead, and the Wolves beginning period number 3 on the main advantage. Mike Cosentino more than likely going to get the star for the Watertown Wolves tomorrow. It'll be a quick turnaround. It'll be a quick turnaround tomorrow as it's a 4 p.m. game, so not much time in between the two contests. And now once again, if you have any suggestions on our audio, any at all, everything was set up all perfectly on our stream through 2 periods, and then it looks like something has gone a bit wrong here on the side of things. 20 minutes go up on the board. Enforcers a 2-1 lead over the Watertown Wolves, getting ready to start period number 3. The Wolves just about ready to go here. Tyler Bullard going to take the opening draw for the Watertown Wolves. The defensive pairing of... Oh, wow, that's not going to be the defensive pairing unless Derek Boudreau is playing back this period, which he is. Derek Boudreau going to play back on the defense. lead at center ice, and Michaels wins the draw back to JT Walters. Walters getting it over to Mafouz here. Mafouz with the feed, trying to get it down to Hudson Michaelis here. Pominville comes out of the crease. Bonzile hits it off the front end of his stick, down on the edge. Mafouz taking it away. Powell fighting, and Hudson Michaelis pulling it out. Now Dale Dion. Back to JT Walters once again. Walters pulling it up to Kyle Powell. Powell, 19-13 to go in period number 3. As now he flips it down to Tyler Bullard. Bullard now back down to Hudson Michaelis once again. Michaelis in front of the blue line, and he scores! Hudson Michaelis with the insurance goal the Elmira Enforcers needed here. And the Enforcers have just taken a 2-goal lead over the Watertown Wolves. 20 seconds remaining on the Kyle Stevens penalty. Hudson Michaelis, a short-handed goal, I repeat. Michaelis snuck around, cutting from the right side, back to center ice and burying it behind Jeremy Pominville. 40 seconds gone in the period, and the Enforcers now with a 3-1 lead. The Watertown Wolves have a tough road ahead if they want to come back in this one. Zajac creeping back across the blue line, can't get it to go. Marker firing it on, and it was blocked by Joe Young here. Joe Young getting a tip on another one here. The crowd still swinging their cowbells around after the goal. A minute gone now as Kyle Stevens comes out of the box. Hit check into the boards for Benko and Sansibo. Marker fired that one on, and a save made by Joe Young here. A minute and 7 seconds gone, and already a goal in this period for the Elmira Enforcers. The crowd absolutely crazy here at First Arena after that goal. Everybody loving every minute when the Enforcers are winning here at First Arena. A minute and 12 seconds now gone. Davini with the tip on it, trying to get it down off to the left behind mighty Joe Young here. Yarwood getting it up. Benko fighting for this one on the board. Benko cut back around the blue line. Benko back to Mark Essery once again. Essery in a fight with Justin Coachman. Coachman coming back around. Benko with it now. Benko to Mark Essery with it once again. Essery. Bullard now back. Bullard going up. He can't find it. Davini across the blue line here. Davini coming around. And now Joe Young blocked that one down. Mark Essery across the blue line. Cutting back to the circle. And no, just barely. Jeremy Pominville kept that one out of the net. Toe drag by Andrew Harrison. And it wouldn't go here. And I'm being told now that my audio on YouTube is a huge problem at the moment. But if you are listening right now, you can head over to Mitchler.com, www.mitchler.com/ColbySmith to listen to the rest of the game here. Sorry about the audio troubles on YouTube as George blocked that one down. And Pominville now making a save here. 17:30 to go in period number 3. 29 shots for the Elmira Enforcers to the Wolves. 17 here. 2.5 gone in period number 3. Jared Pedro and Hudson Michaelis onto the right of Pominville here. Michaelis winning it back to Tom Tracy. Tracy dumping it behind the net. Vladimir Port has it now. Port fighting with Michaelis. Harrison now back. Harrison fighting with Port. Harrison and Jurich in a battle. Pedro pulling it out. Powell now with it. Powell getting it up to Ryan Marker. Marker across the blue line on the near side. Marker tipping it up and through the air. Young gets a stick on this one. The Wolves in the battle behind the net. Lucas tipping this one. Tom Tracy now banging it off the board. Ryan Marker in a fight with Kyle Powell. Tyler Jurich fighting with Andrew Harrison. Tyler Jurich now cutting across through center. Jurich across the line through the circle. Jurich poked away by Kyle Powell. Now Tom Tracy through the air. Jamie Lucas pulls it down and out. The Wolves across the line. He goes far side to Bedro. Bedro fires into the glass here. Down back in play. The Wolves have it in the corner. Wolves pulling it out. It's slap shot for Justin Coachman. Coachman can't get it to go. The Wolves cutting back around. Ryan Marker to Cole Sansibo. Sansibo into the glove of Joe Young here. 16:29 to go in the game. The Enforcers had much needed insurance goal on their side. But the Watertown Wolves, of course, 2 goals needed to come back and tie this one. And now it's popping up on the board here. More of the Elmira Enforcers advertisement. And once again, if you're listening on YouTube.com, please switch over. You can keep the video feed on, or you can switch over to the Elmira Enforcers video feed. But make sure you keep our audio on. Head over to www.mitchler.com/Colby Smith, MITLR.com/COLBYSMITH. Pominville lays it back to Cole Sansibo. Sansibo up trying to get it to Davini. To Peace. Mafuz gets tripped down. And now it's up and through the air. Peace back to Dion. Over to Walters. Walters tipping it down and off to the left behind the net. Mafuz cutting around. Mafuz gets taken into the boards. Mafuz in a fight with Sansibo. Mafuz sends Sansibo flying into the boards. Peace pulls it out, goes back to Dion in front of the blue. Dion can't get it to go. Mafuz trying to beat out a foot race with Sansibo. Sansibo on top of it. Mafuz in a fight with Coachman and Sansibo on the whistle sounds here. 15:43 to go in the game now. The action is non-stop here at First Arena. The Enforcers and Wolves both making a full-on line change here. The Elmira Enforcers a 30-18 shot lead over the visiting Watertown Wolves here. Head coach Paul McLean looking a little flustered down on the bench at the moment. Has his clipboard out trying to draw up any possible solutions here to come back in this one as Mark Essery gets to the puck by Zajac. Now he sends it over to Natris. Natris forks it up and pulled out now Essery. Essery going up, stitched off here. Dallas Desjardins. Cameron Yarwood dumping behind the net this time around. Now Jeremy Pominville lays it to Dallas Desjardins. Dallas Desjardins up to Zajac here. Zajac cutting around. And Yarwood going around. Yarwood sending it around the net. Dallas Desjardins pitched it up. The Enforcers just playing a lot of dump and dump hockey here early on in this one. Young setting it back for Cameron Yarwood here. Yarwood off to the left behind Joe Young. Yarwood holding on. He's still holding on to this one. Yarwood not making yet a move. He's got Matthews on his right side. He's going back and forth now. Left and right, back and forth. Goes Cameron Yarwood. Running off a ton of time on the clock here. Yarwood cuts left. Now goes back to the middle. Now cuts left once again. Now he's cutting to the right and finally hits Matthews with the pass. That took long enough. And now Kyle Powell catches it through the air. Dumped it. Matthews was trying to get it down. Lucas fired it in. Lucas couldn't get it to go. Young falls out. Young can't stop it. And the Enforcers flip it down ice here. The Enforcers get a change off the Wolves. Getting a couple off here, but not much. Kyle Powell sinking up around the net. Going over to Derek Boudreau here. Boudreau backhanding it over. The Enforcers. JT Walters getting possession. A lot of turnovers are playing. Both teams driving the zone here in this one. Not giving either team an opportunity to come on back in this one. Jurich now in a fight with Bonzio. Hudson Michaelis fights with Bonzio. Bonzio through the blue line. Cuts back to center. Cuts back through the blue line to Boudreau. Boudreau fires it. And Young catches this one. Joe Young with yet another glove save for the Elmira Enforcers here. And when I was on the broadcast with John Clement over on Mitchler.com/Elmira Enforcers hockey at second intermission, John asked me what I thought of the glove work. Ahmed Mahfouz, what's up with that? Ahmed Mahfouz being sent to the locker room here by the officials. Not sure what's up with that one. Once again, no dirty plays at all on that, unless I missed something, which I honestly do not think I did. But Ahmed Mahfouz coming off the bench there and heading off, no helmet on. He left his stick, so maybe we'll see him back, maybe we won't. We've yet to see Gino Mini return after our incident earlier on in this one. Now a big takedown in the corner of the Watertown Wolves, it'll seem, will get a penalty here. Justin Coachman and Hudson Michaelis, or rather, maybe the penalty will go on Hudson Michaelis. Coachman, the one slow to get up on this one. He's holding his jaw. Whoever it was dragged down here. The penalty box opens on the Watertown Wolves side. 13:23 to go in the contest. A 3-1 lead for the home team. Hashtag save and protect flashes on the board here. The losses is of Kevin T. Flynn. And the Elmira Enforcers going to head to the power play now. The Elmira Enforcers' new favorite song. The hype up tunes going on here. We're getting a fight going on. Glenn Patterson and Justin Natris. Natris with a hard right. erupting around First Arena here. Dangerous facing here, Glenn Patterson here, Andrew Harrison and Cameron Yarwood, and talks with the officials here. The penalty pops up on the board for Watertown's Justin Coachman here. 2 minutes, but we're definitely going to have more on this. Desjardins bringing over gloves and a stick to the Watertown bench. An absolute beauty of a fight. Our first one of the weekend here, First Arena. You knew it was coming. These two, they do not like each other. I just going to put it bluntly, these two teams hate each other. Literally last year, the Elmira Enforcers 9-2-3. The Enforcers took the season series, and there was at least 2 fights in all but one of those games. These two, and there were some brutal ones too. I'm thinking of the Ahmed Mahfouz and, or not, yeah, Ahmed Mahfouz and Vladimir Port fight last year. Ahmed Mahfouz and Vladimir Port getting into an absolute duel up in Watertown at center ice. Mahfouz dropped a couple hard rights before Port went after him. Port and Mahfouz just went at it, kept throwing hard rights and lefts at each other. Yarwood and Powell still in front of the penalty box here, discussing the outcome of this with the officials. Mighty Joe Young going to head to the bench here, and we're going to take a quick break here on Mixler.com, and when we get back, we'll have the ruling for you here. Glenn Patterson picking up 5 minutes for fighting, and Justin Natris picking up 5 minutes, or Vladimir Port rather. Yeah, Justin Natris might be on that one. Justin Natris picking up 5 minutes for fighting for the Watertown Wolves. So coincidentals, and then of course the Enforcers on a power play here due to the Coachman minor for interference in the corner. Dale Dion back in front of the blue line, going over to Cameron Yarwood. Yarwood around the blue line, cuts back to Michaelis. Michaelis working to Yarwood. Yarwood pitching it to Jurich. Jurich cutting around. Jurich trying to center. Boudreau pitching it out now. Boudreau across the blue line, cutting across center ice. Boudreau cutting around Michaelis, pulling it away. 12:45 to go in the game. 1:20 to go on the Enforcer power play. Dale Dion setting up off to the left of Joe Young here. Dion coming around. He's got 4 guys in front of him and 1 behind. Dion now across the blue line, trying to go far side to Jurich. Powell cut in and drew that one out. Joe Young setting up just in front of himself here, the puck, and he finally stops on this one before the Watertown Wolves could get a hold of this one. It was Tyler Buller going fast and furious, full out of steam after that one. But it was just stolen away by Joe Young there, not giving the Watertown Wolves any opportunities in this one. And now it's Stevens and Buller to take the draw to the left of Joe Young here. Lucky the Enforcers didn't get whistled for too many men on the ice there, as they had 7 on the ice there for at least 4 seconds after the puck was dropped. JT Walters going over to Matthews now. Matthews trying to find the stretch to Peace. It won't go. Port down, and Stevens intercepts the pass. Stevens coming around, goes through the blue line. 12 minutes to go in the game. Through the circle, Stevens back to Peace now once again. Peace banging it off the skate of Bullard here. Bullard now back to Powell once again. Powell up to Port. Port with a long flip down ice across the blue line. Joe Young tips on this one, throwing it down ice. No Enforcers there to get it, and Cole Sansibo recovers the puck. Sansibo sitting back behind the puck, behind the net contently here with the puck, as now the Wolves cut back around. Jared Boudreau through center. Boudreau, don't know what that one was, as he flipped it high and hard into the corner, banging out to the last, ricocheting around, ending up behind the net. Big hard check as JT Walters fell to the ice. Coachman is back on the ice. The Enforcers power play is over. Matthews now dumps it down for the Enforcers and heads off here. Kyler Matthews' first pro game after just finishing his season at SUNY Canton. And a good night for him despite not registering in the scoring column. He is a +1 on the night, and he's seen some good looks. Harrison and Jurich on a break here. 2-on-2. Desjardins the trailer. Port can't break up the ref. Desjardins took a stick to the face, and now Ryan Marker gets stripped down by Jeremy Pominville. The Wolves turning into a mess here. 10:44 to go. The Watertown defense trying to hold on here, give their offense a chance to score a couple on this one. Desjardins through the circle, going up to Lucas. Lucas trying to find Dion. Dion can't go. Marker now up, and it's held on to by Joe Young here. Joe Young hitting it off his shoulder, and now finally hopping on the clock. 10:28 remaining in the contest now, and they're showing another one here. Now Hudson Michael is heading off here for the Elmira Enforcer. I have no idea what's going on now. Seriously, Ahmed Mahfouz is now in the locker room. Gino Mini's in the locker room. And wow, okay. We'll have to see how this goes for the Elmira Enforcers in the next few minutes. Kyle Stevens back with the puck, and Stevens gets it up to Dion. Now up to Essery. Essery on the blue line. Essery coming around. He's got Davini on him. He cuts around Bullard. To Essery in all alone, and it's off the blocker of Pominville into the corner. Bullard flipped up through the air, high and hard down. Dion pulling it out here. Dale Dion across the blue line. Dion cutting back. Dion can't get it to go. Essery right there to help him out. Essery in a battle in the corner going to Stevens. Stevens off the blocker. Hard slap shot. 5 feet in front of the net. Peace having to come out and snare this one down for the Enforcers once again. He's backhands and scores. I think it's done now. That goal horn, I tell you, that goal horn absolutely obnoxious here. Loud and long. The fans love every minute of it. However, it sets the lone Watertown fans around. See Watertown fans down off to my right. 4 sections over, and the Watertown fans out looking absolutely unpleased now with the result of that one. Very top shelf, and the Enforcers find themselves now on top by 3 goals. A 4-1 advantage now. 9:43 to go in period number 3. Doesn't like what that bodes for the Watertown Wolves entering tomorrow. The momentum going to go in the Enforcers' favor unless the Wolves can find a magical comeback here in these next 9 minutes and 33 seconds. Harrison now on the blue line, tips it back behind the net. Pulls Santibo in a battle with it for Brendan Hussey. He bends it to Church. So the goal goes in as Peace from Stevens and Essery. So Zach Peace, a huge night. 2 goals and an assist for the Elmira Enforcers. Lucas trying to throw that one in on net, and it was off the shoulder of Joe Young here. A line in and a fire by Ryan Marker, and it goes up and out of play here. 9:02 remaining now in the contest. Both teams getting a full 5-man change off. And with that, once again, we'd like to wish you all the best wherever you may be listening from. Hoping you're enjoying Hockey Weekend across America, and hope you continue to enjoy it when we return here on Mixler.com from our media timeout, our last and final of the evening. We're now back on here with you live from the First Arena in Elmira, New York. The horn sounds to end the media timeout. 9:02 remaining in the game. Once again, thank you for joining us. And if you're listening here on Mixler.com, drop us a message in our broadcast chat. Tell us where you may be listening from, who you're a fan of, to get yourself a shout out on the broadcast here tonight. Once again, sorry about all our technical issues on the YouTube side of things. Trying to adjust our camera once again here at the break, and no such luck. Everything's still the same, so sorry about that. We're using a cam link through a small portable device here to bring you all the video footage of the weekend on the ThunderForce media channel on YouTube. Powell now in a battle with Matthews behind the net of Joe Young and getting help from Liam Little here. And Zajac having to come in and assist Little. Zajac and Stevens on the board. Zajac giving a big hug to Kyle Stevens, and he has to go back to Kyle Powell here. The puck flipped up out of play by Powell. 8:32 to go in the contest now, and we're going to get another change on ice here. And Glenn Patterson is going to come out for the Elmira Enforcers now. He skates over hard to the bench. Justin Nature is going to be let out. The door of the penalty box was keeping him in, having to jam and grab on to be able to let Nature out. A big fight with the penalty box door. Not often you see that occur, that the penalty box door are that fussy here at the First Arena. 8:32 to go in the game, and the Wolves win the draw bet now. Wolves in desperation mode, trailing by 3 with 8:25 to go. The puck over in the corner. Walters fight for it. Marker throwing a shot on net. Powell, and he finds the back of the net. Kyle Powell burying it for the Watertown Wolves, cutting back around and burying it top shelf over the right shoulder of Joe Young to bring the Watertown Wolves back within 2 here in the game. Kyle Powell, lots of fist bumps going around on the bench. 33-24 the shots. The Elmira Enforcers lead, but you gotta like that goal. Maybe that helps out the Wolves' momentum here. Still got a lot of time. 8 minutes and 20 seconds is a ton of time. 4-2 our score. 3 goals, the worst lead in hockey. So you never know what could happen here going down the stretch. So plenty of time. Michaelis across the blue line now. Michaelis cutting around, going, trying to find a Harrison. Backhand pass wasn't there. And the Wolves, Davini now cutting around with it. Davini across the blue line, cutting through the circle, now drops back here. Davini off the skate of Dion. Dion now reaching out and pulling it back onto his stick here. Dion through the blue line, cuts back to the near circle. Dion trying to find Harrison. He can't find it. Powell now back behind the net here. Kyle Powell hanging on to it, fresh off a goal for the Watertown Wolves. A 4-2 lead for the Elmira Enforcers. Now our score. Joe Davini just back behind the blue line. The Watertown Wolves trailing by 2 here. Desperation mode sinking in here in this one. You gotta wonder how early they'll get Jeremy Pominville off in this one. We have seen Pominville go off trailing by 2. Mark Essery in front of the net. Essery, Port there. Port kicking it out into the corner. Peace and Patterson back with it. Peace in the corner off to the right. Behind Pominville. Patterson firing it on, and Pominville kicked it up into the netting here. 7:07 to go in the game. You gotta wonder when the Watertown Wolves are gonna plan on pulling Jeremy Pominville in this one. It was a game back earlier in the season in, gosh, I can't remember where it was, but Jeremy Pominville trailing back 2 came off with over 4 minutes to go, so we'll have to see what Coach Pominville's plan is here tonight. Justin Coachman and Essery behind the net. Derek Boudreau pulls it out and goes up to Jamie Lucas. Lucas across the line, goes back to Marker. Marker with a drop pass. Young drops it down, and Derek Boudreau can't fire it down. Once again, Joe Young going off full Ninja Turtle butterfly like. The net dislodged here by Glenn Patterson. Glenn Patterson puts his arms in the air. He's displeased with that call here, but they're going to have to resurface the net here. The Watertown Wolves in a discussion with the referees like, we're on a roll here, man. Come on, let us keep playing. But the net came, and it was all the way almost in front of the boards. Quite a bit distance between the boards and the netting here at First Arena, probably at least a good 8 to 10 feet. And there was no way that was going to happen here. Glenn Patterson going to take a penalty for this. Delay of game going to be the call. Glenn Patterson, a delay of game penalty. 6:46 to go. And now that eases the burden up for the Watertown Wolves just a little bit. Glenn Patterson taking a seat in the sin bin. The Enforcers lead at 2. The net being reconnected on the side of Joe Young here. And there's an advertisement for Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee up on the board right now. And I'm just thinking about how good an iced coffee, especially pumpkin spice iced coffee, would taste right now. I'm really into my seasonal coffee flavors, I'll put it that way. Peppermint mocha from Starbucks, that's definitely a favorite of mine. And you can never forget the pumpkin spice latte. You can never go wrong with a good pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks. Zajac now with the the puck in the circle. Zajac cutting around. Babenko gets a hold of the puck. Babenko across center ice, cutting through the blue line, back to the circle once again. Babenko trying to find Hussey on the far side. Hussey held up by Lucas. Hussey in a battle with Powell, cutting back to Babenko. Babenko fires it off the shoulder of Pominville. Now into the corner. Babenko and Marker fight for it. Powell cuts around the net once again. Powell holding on. He's being played closely by Babenko, and he lays over to Derek Boudreau here. Boudreau cutting through center on the near side. Cuts back to the blue line, trying to find the center. Joe Young with a shoulder save here. The enforcer's trying to clear it down. I can't find Kyle Powell at center ice. So the Wolves forced to retreat on the power play here once again. 1:08 to go on the Glenn Patterson penalty. Daychuck across the blue line, goes to Lucas. Lucas trying to find the open man. There's nobody there. Marker now has it in the corner, and he goes back to Powell at the point. Powell has Stevens on him here, and he lays over to Marker. Marker going back out to the right behind the net over to Sanstabo. Sanstabo to Marker. Back to Powell at the point. Powell going over to Sherman. Sherman to Zajac, and it can't go. Zajac fired that one on net. No luck for the Watertown Wolves here. 40 seconds to go on the man advantage. The Watertown Wolves, Jamie Lucas in a battle with Kyle Stevens. Stevens tips it, bangs off the board, rolls in front of the enforcers and the Wolves net. Jeremy Pominville comes all the way out top of the circles and holds this one out for Dominic Bonzio. The Wolves getting a couple of men off here. 20 seconds to go on the man advantage now. Kyle Stevens picking up the puck, stripping Dominic Bonzio between the stripe and center in the blue line and dumping him back down. 10 seconds now to go on the man advantage for the Wolves here. Tyler Bullard off to the right behind Jeremy Pominville. 4:50 to go in the game. 4 seconds to go on the man advantage. Bullard across the blue line, cutting back around. One last rush, and Hussey breaks it up. Glenn Patterson takes back to the ice here, and he's going to head to the bench now. Surprised the enforcers don't get whistled for 6 as Tom Tracy onto the ice before Glenn Patterson reached the bench. Jeremy Pominville now holds on as the enforcers firing the weak tapper on, and that was indeed Tom Tracy. So Tracy getting right into it here since coming on the ice. Glenn Patterson heading to the bench. Glenn Patterson, big physical presence for the Elmira enforcers. He does it for it in the corner. Glenn Patterson, a good man, as we said, donates to charity after every Gray enforcers margin. But of course, 2 goals the Wolves trailing by here as Hudson Michaels tips the draw back to Matthews. Matthews fired high and hard up above the referee's head off to the right behind Pominville. Marker picks up the puck now. Marker cutting across the blue line through center now. Goes up to Derek Boudreau. Boudreau with Matthews. Matthews going up to Jurich. Jurich has Michaels on his far side. Going over to Jurich. Jurich can't find the pass. And now it's stick back here. Derek Boudreau going to Andrew Harrison now. Harrison banging it off his stick back onto the ice. Stick tap. And he goes over into the corner. He fights with Dallas Desjardins here. And now he finds Jurich with a nice, easy soccer of a pass. Jurich taken down. They can't find the puck. Everybody's fighting for it, but the puck's behind them. Now finally the Wolves find it, but Jurich back up and in the fight. Jeremy Pominville, the fight gets all the way to him, and he lays down the save on this one. 3:41 to go in period number 3. Jeremy Pominville yet to head off. He's had a great weekend so far here for the Watertown Wolves. It'd be a shame to see him take an L here tonight and see his record move back to 500 now. 14 wins, 13 losses on the season goes. Jeremy Pominville in the face-off now off to his right. The enforcers take it. Mark Estrie goes to Peace. Peace cutting around. He's got Bullard on him here. Bullard pushing Peace into the boards. Peace has Estrie around him, and he drops back to Patterson. Patterson with a fork up to Peace here. Peace slammed into the boards. Bullard and Estrie with a stick in there. Estrie still sticking it in. Poured around. Estrie coming back around. Poured on him here. And now Estrie trying to drop back to Patterson. Patterson forced to retreat behind center for the enforcers now. Now Mark Estrie sets up here for the Elmira enforcers once again. He goes to Peace, and Kyle Powell breaks up the rush. Powell back to Poor. Poor around the net here in a fight with Mark Estrie, and he lays back to Powell once again. Powell going out, hitting off the stick of Boudreau, and Patterson has it now. 2:50 to go in the game. Patterson going up to Powell. Powell through the leg to Davini. It finds the stick of Peace here. Peace trying to go up to Stevens. Stevens in a 1-goal. Peace right behind him here. Peace following up everything now. Powell cutting around. Going up here. Who is this? Number 11, Jamie Lucas, not bad here. And it's taken down, goes to Pominville finally going to head off here. The Wolves in a rush, 2:23 to go. Lucas fires it. It's blocked. Dallas Deja lane, getting the point, fires it through the screen. Can't find it. Young trying to make this down. Jamie Lucas tips it out. Tom Tracy has it here. 2-goal lead. Tracy tipping it up off the glass. Deja Lake getting it back to Saxtable. Dallas Deja Lake falls to the ice here. Bullard down ice. Up behind the glass. 2:02 to go in the game. The Wolves trail by 2. The Enforcers tipping it up onto the glass here. Now it's tipped around. Davini has it. Davini with possession. The Wolves not giving the Enforcers a break here, but the Enforcers dump that down ice. Just narrowly wide of the empty net goes Matthews now. Tyler Matthews trying to find his first pro goal, and icing whistle here. 1:45 to go in the game. Head coach Paul McLean has his board out. Curious to see if he takes a timeout here soon. As you don't know when you'll get it granted by the referees here. The referees have to grant your timeout request here in the FPHL. And it flashes up on our board here if you're still watching with us on YouTube. The jersey auction tonight going on after the game. The Enforcers auctioning off their green and black jerseys. And now finally, head coach Paul McLean steps over the bench. He's with the guys off in the walkway. And a timeout here for the Watertown Wolves. We'll take another break here on Mitchell and YouTube, and we'll be right back here to close things out of this one. What was up with our little static feed on the audio there. Started to cut back from our Power Play Sports Derek Boudreau commercial a moment early, but wanted to make sure you didn't hear static for the next 25 seconds. A minute and 45 to go here in period number 3. The Enforcers a 2-goal advantage over the Watertown Wolves, and now we get a timeout called by Elmira, so we're going to see if we can take another commercial break, and we'll be right back here on Mitchell and YouTube. We're back and ready to go here to finish this one out from the First Arena in Elmira, New York. I'm Colby Smith along here with you for the ride this weekend. Off to the left of Joe Young, Michaelis tipping it back onto the stick of JT Walters. Michaelis in a fight with Davini. Dale Dion in a battle. Tipped on by the Wolves. No such luck. The net's still empty for the Wolves. Zach Pease trying to tip it down, and he follows Joe Davini closely here. Davini back across the blue line. 1:26 now to go in the game. Kyle Powell has it. Ryan Marker and Dominic Bonzino right with him. Trying to go on a rush here, get something going in this last 80 seconds. Bullard now tips it. JT Walters throwing it down, and Kyle Powell holds on, finding it before he can find the empty net. Now 70 seconds to go. Bazio cutting around the blue line, cuts back to the far circle, going over. Tyler Bullard had an opportunity for a shot there, but he whiffed on it as the puck rolled right past the stick. Now under a minute to go. Powell throwing it around, up through the legs of Ryan Marker. Marker can't hold it. Dumped down by Zach Pease, wide of the net. Icing going to be called here on the Elmira Enforcers. 49.4 seconds to go in the game. A 2-goal advantage. The Enforcers have had plenty of opportunities here for the empty net goal. And they're only out shooting the Wolves right now. 38 Ryan Marker with it. Marker getting over to Davini. Davini with a long pass over off to the boards to dominant Bonzio. Bonzio pulling it back to Powell. Powell forced it over to Davini. Davini going through the lanes, leading it to Bonzio. Bonzio in the corner with Michaels. 30 seconds now to go. The referee Dutch as the puck comes up and slams onto the glass. Davini missiling this one around. Davini going back, playing give and go hockey here. Rolls over the stick of Ryan Marker. 18 seconds to go. 16 seconds to go. 4-2, the Enforcer leads. Powell with the puck behind the net, getting it to Bonzio. The Enforcers dump it out. Dale Dion going back with the puck there. And Tyler Pullen has it just across center ice. Pullen firing it in. Joe Young holding that one, dropping it down into the corner. And the horn sounds here from First Arena. Joe Young has found himself a win, stopping 26 of 28 Watertown Wolves shots. And if you're going on performance this weekend, that's how you base it. Tomorrow starts. Joe Young definitely deserves another start tomorrow after his performance tonight. And obviously, of course, Jeremy Palmento more than likely going to see the bench tomorrow. Mike Costantino going to go for the Watertown Wolves. With Michael Stilianis as one of the making of the XPHL back on February 4th. Costantino's had huge shoes to fill. Michael Stilianis was signed by the Enforcers prior to Watertown's last trip here to Elmira to give the team a battle for ice time amongst the netminders. Stilianis lasted about a month and a half in neon green and white before being shipped to Watertown in the Jurich trade. Costantino looks as if he could be a reliable backup netminder in this league after turning away 35 of 38 against the defending champs in Winston-Salem last Saturday night. It's all a matter of whether he gets a chance to see the spotlight and thrive. And if he gets a chance to see the spotlight up in Watertown in a crucial game against the Elmira Enforcers, the rubber match of the weekend coming up from Watertown Municipal Arena tomorrow. You never know what could happen. The battle of the backups, or so we think it may be. Mike Costantino and Joe Young. You never know how head coach Palmento will go. He's played goaltender Jeremy Palmento all 3 of the 3-3 before, so we'll have to see. The Enforcers still down in the tunnel. As we said, a post-game jersey auction going on here. We'll have to see how they end up running this one. A ton of fans sticking around for this tonight. Obviously, all the gray and black heading off. The 10 with 1 win on the weekend so far, but they've still got plenty more to go. 60 minutes of hockey left in the weekend, and now we're going to hit on the out-of-town scoreboard. Once again, the Port Huron Prowlers with a 4-3 victory over the Mentor Icebreakers. And as for Columbus, Georgia, a 5-3 win for the Columbus River Dragons over the Battle Creek Rumble Bees. And our third star of the game goes in as Cameron Yarwood of the Elmira Enforcers. The Danbury hat-trick, a 4-1 victory over the Delaware Thunder. Obviously, of course, our score here, 4-2 Elmira Enforcers. Looks like the Enforcers going to sweep the 3 stars as they give Hudson Michaelis number 2 star of the game. And we check on our last score of the night prior to the announcement of the number 1 star. The Carolina Thunderbirds with a 1-0 lead over the Danville Dashers through 2 periods. Gleb Karashik the lone goal of the game for the Carolina Thunderbirds and for both teams for that matter. That piece being announced as the first star for the Elmira Enforcers. He's telling 2 goals in the game. Sorry about that. He's telling 2 goals in the game for the Elmira Enforcers, and he wins number 1 star of the game. Once again, they hit on our out-of-town scoreboard here one more time before we let you go. The Port Huron Prowlers a 4-3 victory over the Mentor Icebreakers. And once again, sorry about that. Our mic had a switch flipped on. I don't know how that occurred. Must have hit it with my elbow here. The Columbus River Dragons 5-3 over the Battle Creek Rumble Bees. The Danbury Hatchers 4-1 over the Delaware Thunder. Our score here 4-2. The Enforcers over the Watertown Wolves. And then the Carolina Thunderbirds with a 1-0 lead over the Danville Dashers through 2 periods of play. We've got a skit going on the ice here at First Arena. Glenn Patterson, Kyle Stevens, and Brendan Nelson playing with a broken stick. Not sure what the Hussey holding a stick in the air like who is worthy. Ah, they're playing Japanese something here. Kyle Stevens trying to break it. Kyle Stevens snaps it in half. Kyle Stevens, the fans erupt here. Gotta laugh at some of the enforcer shenanigans that happen here. Now Glenn Batterson going over, and he's picking up Kyle Stevens. He deems Kyle Stevens, he gives him a bell. He gives him the green bell. And we've still got Brendan Hussey here to try to snap. It's held up straight. Brendan Hussey got his skate in his hand, and he snaps it clean in half. The horn sounds again here at First Arena. Brendan Hussey snapping the stick clean in half, and we're going to let the enforcers have fun with the rest of their shenanigans. I'd like to tell you, Watertown, it's been fun this weekend. It's been a great time being with you here on both Mixler and YouTube. Once again, a huge thank you to the enforcers, staff, and the staff up in Watertown for giving me this opportunity. And a huge thank you to you, all of our listeners. And make sure you listen to Jeff Barrett and David Tobolowski tomorrow afternoon beginning at 4 p.m. for the conclusion of the 3-3 weekend. The rubber match kicks off 4:05 p.m. puck drop. You won't want to miss a moment from Watertown Municipal Arena. Thank you once again for this opportunity, Watertown, and good night. Who was that? Who was that?